Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. About my chicken and its rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been hiding a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How with the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Murder drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been hiding a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She at me when I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. Bonito, cheap, Keith. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high getting nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. What is going on, Mafia? We got an amazing live stream for you tonight as Bitcoin, shout out to anybody who saw the market update earlier today, And if you missed that, make sure you turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, guys, because if you watch that market update, you will know that we were looking at some liquidity sitting in a very, very specific area that Bitcoin may or may not have come up to come visit. It's literally where we're sitting right now. So I want to talk about the current price action, guys. FOMC gave us that volatility. It gave us the big wick up, the big wick down, and then a push to the upside. What is coming here next? Are we going to see a continuation to the upside, or is this just a massive bull trap before another big drop down to some of those lower prices where we're looking at around, not the instant levels, but we do have some levels around $76,500 to $75,000. We're going to take a look at that with you guys. We're going to take a look at Market Cypher B. Can we see the continuation up, or are we going to dump? What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Drop some bulls or bears in the chat and let me know what you guys are thinking. But first off, guys, don't forget to smash that like button, or as Ligma Wick says, Ligma dang like button. Shout out to you. We don't even care what you guys do. Touch the like button with your elbow. Touch it with your butt. We don't care. We don't judge you. Lick it. Whatever you want to do. Just touch that like button and make sure if you do it, you do it an odd amount of times. But shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. We got a bunch of bears in the chat. Let's go. Bulls versus bears right now. Let's see. Shout out to Peter Post dropping the cow. Shout out to Peter Post. But let's see what we got in here. We got Ligma Wick. What is going on, man? We got My Passive Freedom. Shout out to you, bro. We got David of Arizona. Shout out to David of Arizona. What is going on? We got Kate Diggity in the chat, says bull then bear. Okay, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I've touched the like button with my feet. Oh, shout out to Nirvana. Getting a little bit weird there with the feet. I like it. Shout out to Nirvana. Welcome in. We got Darren Does Things. What is going on? He said, I want to dump, but bulls, but bull tards keep buying spot to squeeze here. So shout out to Darren. And we're going to talk about a potential squeeze here as we do have some other levels of liquidity sitting above, guys. Are we going to see the same thing that happened earlier today where we got that push up and that liquidity acted as a magnet for price? Are we going to see that happen again with another upper level, which we're going to take a look at in a minute? But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Shout out to Lars, said, still believe we will see sub 80K. Definitely still in the cards. Nothing really has changed on the charts that kind of like totally stepped on that at all. So definitely still in the cards. We'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at everything with you guys. But let's see. We got St. Michael in the chat. Welcome in. We got All Set. We got Chemistry Bro. Welcome in, guys. Don't forget to show our mods some love. We got Darren Does Things, Chemistry Bro, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob. I already said Chemistry Bro. I said Tyler Durden. You guys know who they are. Crypto Billy, Crypto Anon. Show the mod some love in the chat. We got Mr. Ethereum in the chat. We're going to take a look at ETH. ETH coming up and hitting our next targets to the upside. So we'll check in on that as well. And shout out to anybody who tuned into the live stream last night when we were looking at Sui. Sui wound up playing out exactly what we were looking for last night on the live stream. So we'll take a look at that as well. We'll take a look at some of the altcoins. Shout out to Big Huggies in the chat. Said, thanks to all the mods. Shout out to Big Huggies. Welcome in, bro. Goldavelli. And let's see. We got J Vlogs in the chat. Said, how are you, brother? Shout out to J Vlogs. Welcome in, bro. I'm good. How are you? We got two big paws. We got everybody in the chat tonight. Let's get it. Let's see. Nirvana Dev wasn't dovish. Was more clueless. Fed are going to be effed and proven wrong for not cutting sooner next month. Shout out to Darren. Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. We did get the volatility, but yeah, I think the whole macroeconomic situation is very, very complicated. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the chart. Shout out to Felix. Said, yo, Frankie, what's good? Tuning in from the Swiss Alps for the skiing. Shout out to Felix. He's just on the slopes on his phone watching the Frankie Candles live stream. I absolutely love it. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, we got Wick589 and Uncle Jesse in the chat. He's our like police. So if he asks you to slap that like button, please respect him and smack it. And remember, hit it an odd amount of times. If we hit 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we will give away my wireless HyperX headphones. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We'll give away. We'll see. Maybe, I don't know. We'll give away some crypto. But yeah, smash up that like button. We'll see if we can get 1,000 likes, and yeah, we'll just start throwing money in the air. But yeah, without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see if we can figure out Bitcoin's next move. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. And again, shout out to anybody who watched the market update earlier today where we were looking for this area to get hit, guys. We knew we had those liquidations sitting above, which does make us suspicious because we understand that the liquidity does act as a magnet for price. And let me see. When did I think we dropped that around noon-ish. Yeah, I want to say we probably dropped it around here, right? We got a little bit of a drop to the downside, but we knew we had that liquidity sitting above. And, again, the liquidity does act as a magnet for price. And, guys, we have been looking at that liquidity on the chart on these live streams for so long. Pretty much ever since we made this wick, we started to build up that liquidity up here, showing the liquidation heat map, letting us know, like, hey, we got a big magnet up there, could potentially get sucked up there. And what happens? We come up, we get a little pullback, we break out of this volume profile, and we get sucked up right to those liquidations. But the real question right now, guys, is Are we going to continue up? And I'm not going to lie, we do have some other liquidity sitting above. I'm going to talk about it in just a second. I'm going to start off on the higher time frames and give you guys my thoughts. But yeah, we do have some liquidity sitting a little bit higher. I'm going to talk about that exact level. Are we going to be able to squeeze up there and go grab that extra liquidity that we have sitting? I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll bring it up in just a minute. But before we do that, let's go up to the higher time frames, guys. Now, yesterday, we did have, I believe we had the red dot on the daily printing, but it did not confirm, right? It got unconfirmed. It was printing. It did not confirm, and we just got a bounce on that zero line for a nice little push up on our VWAP here, giving us that next little push to the upside. And then coming on down here to the 12-hour. Again, guys, these higher time frames, you know, when we go above the daily, right, like really the only thing that shows us a clear sign here, in my opinion, or at least as of right now is showing somewhat of a clear sign, is the 2-day money flow, right? The 2-day money flow is still in the red here. We have our VWAP rolling over. We're going to have to give this some time to play out, right? Because we don't know if we're going to, you know, overall, guys, we have been looking, right, forever. We have been looking at our Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 retracement right here, right? And, you know, talking about how, hey, guys, if we are going to get our big pullback during the bull market, we are going to be looking for that Golden Pocket 786. This is probably the first area where we would hope that we could put in a higher low, right? So, you know, if we get pushed down to 80K, this is kind of what we talked about. You know, I am not going to get super, super bearish. We are going to be looking for bounces here, potentially into all-time highs. But as of right now with this money flow, guys, we do have to be very careful, right? If we do bounce to the upside, we have to be really careful on some really key levels of support, resistance above, because if that money flow is still coming to the downside as we approach these key levels, we could look for lower highs and potential lower lows. Not that I'm expecting to come down to 57K just yet, but, you know, we have to be careful, right? And we're not really going to be able to know what's going to happen there until when and if we get that retracement and we can reanalyze the price and kind of figure out what we're looking at. But just to kind of say it, right, we are at that local fib. It's not impossible to get a little bit of a retracement here. And when we start to look at some of the medium time frames, we looked at this yesterday. We did have the 4-hour money flow starting to cross over into the green with our 15-minute money flow crossover into the green as well. Not that was the market cipher B116 strategy, but last night, guys, what we were looking at here on the live stream was the fact that we had our, let me go ahead and hide this, pull up our local range. We looked at the fact that we did get a bounce off of our value area low with some nice bullish CVD. We were looking at that in the premium Discord for a potential bounce into our point of control. And this is what we were looking at yesterday on the live stream. We did shortly after the live stream, of course, right after we get off the live stream, we do get that push up into the POC. And then at that point, guys, what we were looking at for the continuation up was that 15-minute money flow crossover into the green. Why were we looking at that to potentially continue the trend up? Well, very simply put, we did have our 4-hour green dot printing at the exact same time, giving us that beautiful market cipher B116 strategy. When you get that 4-hour red dot, green dot with the 15-minute money flow crossover into the green, that's what makes you look for a potential continuation through the whole profile to come up and fill that range in full, tapping into that value area high. We got up this morning and we were like, hey, look at this, absolutely beautiful. We got that push into the value area high. And then obviously today with FOMC, we did see crazy volatility, right? We got the push to the downside, we got the wick to the down, we got the wick to the upside, wick to the downside, and then we wound up coming to take that liquidity above. And kind of the overall thought process here for me personally, guys, other than, you know, a little tiny little scalp position that I took up here, literally looking for a short here right as that volatility was looking to pick up, looking for a short position right here, got it into the Discord just in time, and then got an instant drop to the downside, and I didn't even set my stop loss yet. I was like writing in the Discord to update everybody, being like, hey guys, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even here, and as I'm typing that message, guys, price rips all the way up and then it comes right back down, and I wound up getting stopped out for a small loss here for about $100, $100 loss, but obviously the long paid us out much more. I have now taken much more profit on my long positions, and I'm just letting the rest of them ride, right? Because at this point, if we do continue up, I'm going to talk about the higher targets if this continuation does happen, but that 15-minute money flow did give us the continuation up into the full profile, and, you know, I had to take a shot at that little scalp position, guys. But again, small losses, big wins. We knew we had that liquidity above, so we knew there was probably a pretty good chance that we were going to come up to that the liquidation levels we had here. And you guys could just see how beautifully these liquidation levels are respected, right? We come up in, we start to stop out the shorts, and we kind of are just bing-bonging around up there right now. And now I know everybody wants to know, are we going to continue the move up, or are we going to get the move to the downside? Now, again, we do have some key levels above, and as you guys know, we've been looking at two ranges here, right? We've been looking at our upper, larger volume profile that we have sitting up here with the value area low sitting at 83.5, and then the value area high sitting up here at $91,100, and then the POC is sitting here at about 89,567. Now, every time we come up to this value area high, it's a little bit of a sticky situation because it's like, hey, should we be looking for shorts up here? Because obviously, if you're not looking at the upper range, it's like, hey, this is a deviation above the value area. Are we going to get a continuation down, right? Same thing here. You deviate above. Should we be looking for shorts, or are you going to just get accepted into that upper range? And, pretty much every time we came up here, got up, back into the lower volume profile, down towards the POC. We came up again, back down towards that POC. We came back again, back down towards that POC. We got the full fill of the range, and then we took that long. I am still holding this long position, guys. Actually, not the long from here. It's really a long from down here, right? Just kind of holding that to let that continue to pay out. But the idea is like, hey, like once we get up here, these shorts are a little bit sus, right? And the reason for that is because of that upper range, right? Are we going to continue down through that lower profile, or are we just going to get accepted into our upper profile and then look to fill that range in full, right? Or at least up to the POC. And every time we came up there, we got rejected down, but there is a little bit of a different situation at this point, guys. We did break out, right? We got above our local volume profile. We pushed up. And what happened here, guys? We simply, if you look at just the upper profile, once we got this little pullback, right? We broke out of the lower profile. We got the pullback. And where did we catch that support? Directly on that value area low of the range at $83,500. And you can see how perfectly I have not moved these levels. These are the same levels we've been looking at every single live stream. And you can see how perfectly that was respected, right? And at this point, if we're just looking at the upper range here, what could we potentially anticipate? Well, if we get above that range, flip that value area low to support, we could look for a potential journey up into our golden pocket POC, which is going to be the next big target on Bitcoin, in my opinion, to the upside. So if this continues up, right now, we're going to talk about the low time frames if we could cool off, because again, we have our 3-hour, our 4-hour VWAPs rolling over. We do kind of have money flow trying to come to the downside here. 15-minute, or this is the 12-minute attempting to come out, right? 15-minute is pretty much flat at this point, right? Technically, it is trending to the downside, but this is kind of what I'm going to be looking at. Yesterday, right, last night on the live stream, we were looking for the money flow crossover into the green with the 4-hour green dot for the continuation up. What happens, right? We get the 15-minute money flow crossover with that 4-hour green dot. We get the continuation up. We are now potentially getting accepted into this upper profile, and potentially that could open the door. If we could flip this anchored VWAP to support, it could open the door to come up through the rest of this profile. Now, what are we going to be looking at for the cool-off? Well, very simply put, if we start to see, and again, this is not really coming out that aggressively, but if we could see this 15, 12, and 10-minute money flow start to continue out here with our 4 and 3-hour green dots, right? Red dots. See the 4-hour VWAP rolling over, right? 3-hour rolling over. Come on. There we go. 4-hour trying to roll over here as well. So if we get those 3-hour green dots, those 4-hour red dots, why do I keep mixing that up? 3-hour red dots and 4-hour red dots with the lower time frame, the 15, 12, and 10-minute crossing over into the red at the same time, we could potentially see a little bit of a cool-off. But we have to be careful here, guys, because at this point, we have pretty much broken out of our lower profile, right? And we have an opportunity to potentially get on out of here and fill that upper profile. And with the money flow on the 4-hour and even the 3-hour here, you can see money flow coming up, right? Now, this doesn't mean that I'm necessarily anticipating like all-time highs. I want to be very clear. This is just talking in terms of the profile above us, right? We just want to play this level to level for now until we get like clearer signals that we can look for massive new all-time highs. But even yesterday, guys, right, or over the past few days, as we've been looking at the higher time frames, right, we've been talking a lot about how it would make some kind of sense to at least see some kind of retracement here, right? Even if it is a retracement up to about $91,000 to $92,000 into $96,000 where we have our upper range, right? We have key levels of resistance up here. I'm not going to cover these today pretty much at all just because we've covered this so much in the past. Over the past couple of live streams, you can get all the information you need on these upper levels. But it would make some kind of sense to potentially see a continued retracement to the upside. And again, we have the local volume profile above. We'll talk about that in a minute, or we'll continue to talk about that in a minute. But, it would make sense to get some kind of a retracement here, right? And if we do, we just have to be careful with the high time frame money flow coming out, right? Are we just going to come up and put in lower highs to continue to the downside, or are we going to see that money flow turn up on the higher time frames and see the big moves up? That's something we're going to have to assess once we get closer to some of these levels, right? So higher time frames remain exactly the same. Money flow comes out on the 2-day, money flow coming out on the 3-day. All that money flow still looks pretty sus, but that does not mean that we can't get some kind of intense retracement, right? Like a lot of times, it's kind of hard, right? Like a lot of times people will be like, how is money flow coming out on the higher time frames and we're going up, right? This is to be expected, guys. Money flow, especially on the higher time frames, takes a long time to play out, and it does indicate the overall trend, right? It does not indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, right? It indicates the overall trend, or in this case, the overall trend, right? Money flow continues into the red here. If we don't see this come back into the green, we are going to be anticipating lower highs and lower lows. That's just the way we have to look at the charts, right? This is not my opinion. It's just the information on the charts. Don't shoot the messenger. Just, we're just looking at information here. But, that's kind of the higher time frames. But if we come on down lower here, whoops, what are we doing here? Not this. Where are we at? Scalp range, right? I mean, listen. We came up here and we did not get an SFP, right? To be quite honest, what I would have really liked to see up here was a 1 hour swing failure pattern, right? A 30-minute or a 1 hour swing failure pattern. We know we have those liquidations above, and oftentimes when you're going to get a big retracement to the downside, you will get a swing failure pattern, right? Meaning that you're going to wick above that level, come back down, close your candles below, and then that's oftentimes where you see the big dump to the downside. So we did not get that, right? The only time frame we got an SFP on was the 45-minute, and it actually did wind up playing out just a little bit, right? We came up, we wicked down, we closed above or closed below, right? And then we just came up and pushed back into this, right? So we didn't really get a ton of really good confirmation up here, right? We didn't really have any significant bearish divergences here on the 45-minute. We had no bearish divergence. We have higher highs on our momentum waves, higher highs on price, no bear div, right? So there wasn't a ton of confirmation up here for that big correction down. If we were going to see that bigger SFP play out how you would hope, right, for a nice short setup, you would see that 45-minute or whatever time frame you get that SFP on. Again, I particularly like to see it on the 30-minute, the 45-minute, or the 1 hour. Typically, those do happen pretty quickly, right? We would probably be looking here on the live stream just like, oh my God, there's the big dump, right? But doesn't mean that we can't come down from here, but I would just be careful, right? With the money flow coming up on the medium time frames, if we are going to see the move down, right? In the bearish case, we would have probably seen some kind of crazy SFP there with a huge dump. But as of right now, it doesn't mean that we can't come down from there, but we have to view it in terms of this larger range, right? If we do wind up getting stuck under this anchored VWAP, right, and we do wind up losing the lows here and we keep coming down, we have to look at this, in my opinion, in terms of this volume profile, because if we do get the cool off, remember, money flow indicates the overall trend, and when we look at the 4 hour, technically the money flow is coming into the green. So even if we get this 4 hour green dot, even if we red dot, why do I keep saying green dot? If we get the 4 hour red dot or the 3 hour red dot with the money flow coming out, I would personally be looking at this as a small move down into this blue box. This blue box sits between about $84,371, and the bottom of it is sitting at about $83,526. This could be, right, we got the local break above the profile and flip to support, so there's no guarantee we come back down there, but if we do pull back, right, off that 4 hour red dot, it is, in my opinion, has to be looked at in this profile, right? So maybe that does give us a little bit of a continuation down. 15-minute money flow comes out. We get a nice trend to the downside when looking at the 15-minute, right? We come on down here, but we got to be careful around this zone, right? Because at this point, right, we have to lose this low in order to get the bigger drop down, right? If we got the SFP up here, we probably would have just nuked through this level. But at this point, right, if we cool off, we have to watch that, because maybe that 4 hour red dot pulls us back. But what are we anticipating on the 4 hour? It would be lackluster retracement to the downside to put in higher lows and continue the trend to the upside, right? Where we have our next targets. And I want to talk about these guys because not only do we have the POC of the range and the golden pocket sitting here, I'll just give these levels just so you guys can get them on your chart, 88,000 to about 89,638. This is an important level to look at as our next target being the POC, right? We stay above this value area low in simple terms. If we do cool off, right, hold this value area low, we could put in the higher low. And then the next target would be the golden pocket POC. Flip the POC, we'll simply look up towards the value area high. It's the same exact thing that we looked at yesterday, right? We bounced off the value area low. We had the money flow coming up on the 15-minute and the 30-minute, right? We look for that continuation up, right? And when we were live last night, it was like around here. We're saying, hey, like 15-minute money flow continues into the green here. We're going to look for that continuation up. Next target, POC, flip the POC. Next target, value area high. Right? So it's the same thing, just in the context of a different profile, right? So we pull up that larger range, and this is nice, right? We broke the highs. We did not get the SFP in the bearish scenario, guys. You might say to yourself, well, Frankie, we've always been looking for shorts up here. How come you're, not as confident on this pull to the downside? Simply put, guys, if we were going to get the big rejection, in my own personal opinion, it doesn't mean we can't just nuke out of here, but we would have seen that beautiful SFP setup, right? We would have just gotten the swing failure pattern and just dumped. But we just simply did not get that, right? We got up here, we're starting to hold support, and we're trying right now, currently attempting to hold this anchored VWAP. If we could get above this anchored VWAP, we may be able to push up. And not only do we have the POC golden pocket above here, guys, But we also have a very, very key level that I'm looking at, and it has to do with the liquidity. We used in the market update, shout out to anybody who watched the market update. Drop a candle in the chat if you saw the market update earlier. It was like right before FOMC, so probably didn't get might have gotten stepped on by all the FOMC stuff. But if we do wind up continuing up here, guys, right, in that market update, we look for the liquidity. What happens? We come up and we get gravitated towards that liquidity. Well, you might ask yourself, well, Frankie, where's the next significant amount of liquidity? Well, simply put, let's go ahead and pull this up really quickly. And I can't get on High Block Capital for some reason, but I will pull it up here on CoinGlass. You guys can see here, we have another hot spot of liquidity sitting right above here. And you can see even on CoinGlass, we have that same area of liquidations, right? We bing bong around. We know this is a magnet for price. Maybe we're going to get sucked up towards that liquidity during FOMC, SFP, and then get the dump. We got almost all that to play out. We got sucked up towards the liquidity. We just did not get the big dump, at least just yet. But we'll keep an eye on this, right? Again, I am in a short position. It's a little bit underwater right now. But if I stop out of that, the longs are going to continue to pay us out. I've taken much more profit on my long position, both of my long positions on 2 separate accounts. So I'll talk about those in a minute as well. But you know, we do have that liquidity sitting up here. We come and what happens, right? You come up, you sweep out that liquidity. Just take this as a lesson, guys. If you are looking at the charts, if you want to start looking at this, CoinGlass is 100% free. I think they ask you to make an account for all the features, but it's totally free. I have no affiliation with them. It's totally free. I prefer High Block Capital, but for some reason it wasn't working on Exo charts for me. So I just pulled this up in a pinch. But it's super nice because I know a lot of people don't have a lot of money to lay out for premium products like that, like High Block Capital. So you can just use CoinGlass for completely free. But you can see here, right? We come up, take the liquidity. Right now, we do have another significant area of liquidity starting at about 87.2. Now, why is this interesting to me? Not only do we have the visible liquidation sitting on the chart here, but and you can just see, right? Like we're looking at, there's a lot of levels here, right? And, you know, tons of liquidity here, tons of liquidity here. Everything else is kind of a ghost town. But until we make it up to about 100K, which we'd have to look at a different time frame for. But when we look at this, guys, you know, where is that 87.2 or 86.2 level? It's right here near these equal highs. And what do I always say? Above equal highs, liquidity resides. Now, 86.2 is actually sitting like right down here. But to be honest, right, it's always going to be a zone, right? These liquidations are sitting basically from 87.2. Actually, I already have this marked out on the chart. Bada boom, right? We have this next area of liquidity really starting at 87.2, but the significant liquidity really starts at about 86.4 all the way up here to 87.350. Now, what does this mean, right? Well, it means almost the exact same thing that it meant right here, right? It's probably going to act for as a magnet for price, and when we get up here, I'll be honest, there's not really a big wick to look at for the swing failure pattern. So, you know, could we come up here, sweep the liquidity, and then get a push down? Sure. You know, we'll probably be looking for something like that in the premium Discord. However, you know, another way we can look at this is just fuel to continue us through this volume profile into our next major target, right? So if we push up, if we're able to hold that anchored VWAP, let me, or flip that anchored VWAP to support. Let me go ahead and pull that up really quick. Whoops. I believe it's this one right here, right? If we're able to flip above this anchored VWAP and see this push to the upside, these liquidity levels, once we start pushing into these, could start to get a cascade of liquidations to give us the fuel to shoot up into our next area of interest, which is going to be the POC golden pocket, right? Because if we get all the noise off the chart, right, even if I hide the golden pocket, you want to be aware of these levels, but even if I got rid of the golden pocket, rid of the 786, and we just look at the volume profile here, guys, if I was just looking at this naked volume profile, what would I be looking at this in terms of, well, hey, we got above the low, flip that low, get above this anchored VWAP, right? Even if you play around here, right, the next target, as long as we stay within this, above this value area low, next target's going to be the POC of the range, right? And now that we know that we have that liquidity sitting there in between where we are now and that golden pocket POC, we could say, hey, if we hold this anchored VWAP and push up in here, we could start to see a fast push to the upside, getting us closer to that golden pocket POC. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. This is the range to be looking at, in my opinion, right? Value area low sitting at about 83,488, POC sitting at about 89,500, and then the value area high sitting at 91.2. Right? Why is 91.2 very important? Not only is it the value area high, guys, but once we start looking at this, like, let's talk about this, right? Higher time frames, we've been talking about, hey, what if we can get a bigger continuation to the upside, right? And a bigger retracement off our golden pocket right here, right? What if we get a bigger retracement? Where are we going to be targeting in the long term? Simply put, we're going to be looking to come up towards our bigger range. Now, where is our bigger range? Value area low is sitting at $91,000, which is pretty close and in confluence with our value area high, right? So this all makes a ton of sense if we're going to continue up. This is 100%. You want to just remember your macro value area low is sitting here, but there's no need to keep it on the chart, at least at this moment, right? We could just look at it in terms of this volume profile, right? If we continue up, this is 100% the roadmap that I would be looking at. Push into the liquidations, push us up into the golden pocket. As long as we don't get a lower high here and a massive dump down, right? We could look for a push into the POC, flip the POC, come up to the value area high. And then once we're at this level, right? This is going to be key resistance. Not only is it a 786 retracement, but it is also our value area low of the upper range. So this is going to be a big level. If we can make it up to 91K, guys, this is going to be a very big level to watch, because if we can flip this, we would then in turn be getting accepted into our larger volume profile, which would technically, this is a doorway to higher prices if we could hold above it, right? Value area low, doorway to higher prices, just like we looked at on SUI yesterday, and we wound up seeing the full fill of the range, right? So if we do pull back up here, and we're, again, this is probably going to be resistance until proven otherwise, right? So I don't expect it to just be like fill the lower term range, the lower time frame range, right? Like very rarely does it just work like you flip the low straight to the POC, straight to the value area high, flip this value area low straight to the POC straight. It's very unlikely to play out like that, in my opinion, right? Is it possible? Sure. But once we get up here, it's probably going to be a pretty messy situation. But if we could flip that value area low / value area high of the local range, right? Get above these levels, hold this as support, break this 786. That would invalidate the rejection at the 786 and potentially give us power to push back up into this bigger range. And if we come up to this POC, golden pocket, in confluence with a lot of these higher time frame levels, we got daily horizontals in here. We got daily naked points of controls in here. Ignore these, or not ignore them, but for now, I don't want to talk about these levels just yet. I'm just talking about the higher time frame kind of situation here. If we push up into this golden pocket POC, there's a lot of confluence here, and this could potentially be a huge area to be looking at. This is the same level I just brought up on the higher time frames. We come up in here, you want to pay very, very close attention, because if money flow is still coming out on the lower time frames and we're not seeing that money flow cross back over into the green, this could be a big danger zone for Bitcoin. If you think the bear market is here, right? I'm sure a lot of people just think the bull market's back on because we're getting a pump, but a lot of people, we're calling for the bear market here. If you think it's the bear market, this is the time to pay attention, especially if we push up into this macro golden pocket, because if you want to get out of your bags at break even or loss, or a smaller loss, or even in profit, right? You want to try to jump out of your bags. I would argue that this is the place to pay attention to. If things look bearish up here, it could be a big rejection to come in. Now, we're pretty far away from this level, so I don't want to cover it too much because it's going to take a bit of time to get up there, in my own personal opinion. But that's kind of the situation. I want you guys to be prepared, not only with like the local ranges, but also just understand like where this confluence is and what it could mean if we get the bigger move up. I want to talk to you guys about, kind of the doorways to higher prices. We get up here, you can start seeing 96, 97K pretty quickly. And we all know we have a lot of liquidity above 100K, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Bitcoin attempting to hold this anchored VWAP. Is she going to push? I'm not going to lie. This 2-hour VWAP looks kind of overextended in my opinion, right? 2-hour money flow coming into the green. I think at some point, guys, we are going to see some kind of a retracement. Unless we just come up and grab that liquidity and start pushing. But this 2-hour VWAP is rolling over. It's been above the zero line for quite some time. It would make sense, in my opinion, to see some kind of low time frame cool off here. But again, money flow on the medium time frames would call for a continuation to the upside. So I would be looking at this right now. The main profile I am looking at, very simply put, let's hide all this stuff, right? Hide the dailies, right? This is the range that we're looking at. Hide the upper range. This is what I'm looking at, right? Whether we flip this anchor VWAP right now and push up, that's one thing that can happen. But again, I think these medium time frames, they look a little overheated, right? We're starting to get into the overbought territory. VWAP's rolling over. Even the 4-hour, like, although we did get, starting to roll over here. Not quite overbought on the 4-hour just yet. But yeah, 1-hour red dot is printing, so maybe we cool off a little bit, but that's kind of the situation we're looking at. If we continue up, guys, those longs are going to continue to pay us out. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, guys. And again, shout out to anybody who saw that market update earlier. Letting everybody know those liquidations are sitting up there. Let's see if we get them hit, and that's exactly where we're sitting at right now. Shout out to Nirvana, said, bear with me market. Yeah, shout out to Nirvana. It is a bear with me market, not a bear market. Let's see. Shout out to Mark Dutch, said, drooling over wifey. Wish Wick didn't shut down the shower cam. Oh, God. Shout out to Mark Dutch. I don't know what the heck is going on in the chat right now, guys. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Let's see. We're going to take a look at the altcoins as well. Shout out to Captain Kirk tuning in. Welcome in, Captain Kirk. We got the black coffee. On deck here, guys. We're drinking black coffee here at 6:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we just don't care. We never sleep, guys. We never sleep. Shout out to Premium Mindset says, what are your volume profile settings? Because for me, the value area low did not get hit. If you are getting the value area low, POC value area high, if you're getting all of these levels to pop up, regardless of if they're the same as mine, it's probably not the settings that you have different. It's probably where you have the range pulled to, which is I have mine pulled right here. It's been pulled from here ever since we wound up breaking down here. It's pulled to about, I'm on the 1 hour chart here, March 7th at 2 p.m., right? That's kind of where I have that range ended. And a lot of people tell me, like, Frankie, why do you look at the previous profiles? Why don't you just look at the current profile? This is the reason, guys, right? Like, we had our balance in here. This is the level we want to look at. And you can see these levels are indeed respected very beautifully. So, yeah, your settings are probably the same. My settings are, I'll just pull them up here real quick. You could screenshot this, and then you could screenshot this. Those, I don't have too much changed here. You just got to make sure you have value area low, value area high, and the POC selected. But other than that, it's probably where you have your value area low is probably down here, right? Which did get hit over here, funny enough. But that's probably where your value area low is. If I had to guess, if you have it pulled from the same spot, if you have your range pulled starting from the same spot I do, that's probably where your value area low is. But yeah, it probably has to do with where you have it pulled. But this is where I have mine pulled. You can see the dates down here. Now you should be able to see the dates, I think. Let me pull up OBS real quick. There you go. So that's where I have it pulled from. Now, if we continue up here, once we start to approach the POC / golden pocket, that is where I probably will start to extend my profile back to the right to the current price action, because at that point, we're pretty much back in balance here. So, yeah, oftentimes I am looking at those previous profiles. And the reason for that, guys, is simply because I like to look at the previous areas of balance. That is how we trade the markets. It is simply auction market theory, where we are looking at previous areas of balance, and when you deviate out of those areas of balance, it is very likely that once you come back up, you are going to approach previous balance, and once you get accepted into that range, you're going to be looking for that range to fill back in full. These ranges are oftentimes respected, even if you don't have it pulled to the current price action, right? Does that make sense, right? The reason I don't always pull it to current price action is because the reason I don't have it pulled all the way down to here is because this is not the fair value, right? This is giving us, although this was kind of a choppy range, like all this price action has been super choppy. Up here, even down here has been kind of choppy. But once you start impulsing out of this range, this is imbalance. We want the balanced area of price, right? So we kind of want to mark out those ranges, right? Once you impulse out of here, this is imbalance. I don't want to include that because I'm trying to mark out the areas of balance. So we only want to get kind of where up until where the range breaks, right? If the range here was going to break to the upside, if it broke to the upside the same place it broke to the downside, I would still have it pulled here. If we had remained inside this range and got nice bounces like this, right, I would have kept extending my volume profile to the current price action. But once we impulsed out, that is where I would stop the pull, right? And if your profiles may be auto-updating, right, so you're going to have to go into your settings and just make sure that you have extend to right unselected, right? You want to have that deselected. Because if you click this, right, it will just automatically stay updated with the current price. And to be quite honest, right, when I look at the current profile, and I oftentimes will flash the current profile on and off, like a lot of times I'll just click in here, extend it to the current price action, right? And if I actually just take this range, if I just hide the lines that I have drawn and I look at just the volume profile, the current volume profile, this actually looks pretty good, right? Because if you look at it from this context, what happened? You deviate below the low, right? You get back in. You flip it to support, you bing bong around the POC, you hold the value area low once again, and right now we're above the POC. Where would the next stop for price be when you're looking at it from this aspect, right? It would be the same target that I'm looking at based off the previous volume profile, because this value area high is sitting at 89,569, and where's the next level we're looking at? 85,569, which is the value area high of the current range, but just the POC of the range I'm looking at, right? So it all kind of just lines up anyway, but that's just the way that I like to look at the volume profiles, right? So it's kind of cool, right? Like whether you're looking at the current profile, it shouldn't really change too much, right? I'm looking at it like this because, hey, this is definitely obviously a key level of resistance. That's why it's marked out in purple. But you might say to yourself, well, what happens when we break out of here? If you're looking at your current profile, you might say, you might say to yourself, well, what happens when we break out of here? Where are we going to go then? Right? Well, that's where I would say, look at the previous profile and be like, well, hey, value area high sitting here at 91.2. And if you weren't looking at that previous volume profile, just to spit a little game here, let's say you were just looking at the current profile, right? And you don't know how to get that range on your chart for whatever reason, right? What would you be looking at? Well, you just look at your next volume profile that you have above. Well, hey, if we break above this, right, where are we going to go next? Pull up your upper range. Well, hey, we're probably going to go approach this range, right? The upper volume profile that we bing-bonged around in forever, right? What I'm looking at on Bitcoin for the most part, guys, this is the range to look at, whether you want to look at the current profile or the one that I'm looking at, right? This one just kind of gives you a bonus level of the value area high up here. And I like this because it's confluent with the 786, right? The POC is confluent with the golden pocket, and the 786 is confluent with the value area high. Just giving us a little bit more context into the strength of those levels and the probability of getting reaction from them. So there we go. Let's see. I'm going to come into chat real quick. I want to take a look at some of the altcoins, guys. Obviously, big news for XRP. We're going to take a look at XRP, and I'll kind of break down what I'm looking at. You know, some people say, the lawsuit's over. I just say, send it to the value area high. That's exactly what happened. I'm going to break down that price action for you. Next target to the upside for XRP as well. And I also want to check in on SUI because last night we took a look at SUI. Not that this is ever supposed to be looked at as signals, guys. Why'd I type in signals? You know, not that you should ever be looking at this as like, oh, I'm just going to trade what Frankie says or anything like that. Please never do that. That is not how this works. However, what we were looking at on the live stream yesterday on SUI was pretty hilarious, right? Because what were we looking at? We were simply looking, this was last night at the 18th at 625. This is where we started to break above the volume profile. And we said, hey, if we could get above this value area low and hold it as support, right, this is where we could start our journey up to where? The POC of the range. Once you get above the POC, where can we go? Up to that value area high, right? Absolutely beautiful. We saw that range fill in full for a nice little, come on. Give it to me. Nice little 4.6% move, right? Right through that volume profile. Very simply put, I know it seems too good to be true, guys, but you deviate below the low, get back into the range, you look to fill that profile in full. There's about an 80% chance. I don't have statistics on that, but a lot of people call these 80% setups. You know, there's a very high probability, I would say at least an 80% chance that you come back to the POC, if not an 80% chance of filling that range in full, right? Especially even when you come above the high, you get back into the range, you get accepted in, back to the POC, back to the value area low, right? Deviate below the low, right? Or not really, deviate below the low, you kind of bing bong around, but once you are able to reclaim this as support, you go to the POC and then the value area high, right? This is how we trade. This is how we catch these moves, and this is how we're able to make these calls so accurately. It's not just because I'm a magician, right? Or I have a crystal ball, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I swear, do not investigate me. Anyway, you know, that is, it's all based off the volume profiles for the most part, right? Now, it's not just as easy as pulling a random volume profile and, you know, being super confident knowing you're 100% going to fill the range. It's usually very choppy, very scary, very confusing, right? But there you go. Absolutely beautiful. This is, you know, 4% move in one day is not too bad, right? It's a four grand, you know, on a $100,000 leverage position. But let's see. If I target, shout out to Vitali says, if I target 64K as refresher, should I expect 100K being taken or better? All-time high 130 already. What is currently the best resistance? Shout out to Vitali. I'm not 100% sure if I target 64K as a refresher. I don't know exactly what that means. Yeah, if you give me a little more detail, I'll try to break that down for you, brother. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Blockchain Domain. Can I get a oh yeah? Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Mrs. Candles is like is probably losing her mind if she's here right now. But let's see. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And there is your oh yeah. Anyway, let's see. Frankie, does it make sense for me to keep my short position, which is in a loss open, with hopes of a correction, or should I accept the loss and close it? Shout out to Daniel. Any trade you're in, you want to set your stop loss at the invalidation of your trade idea, right? So, I don't know your exact situation or where you're short from, but for example, right, if you are, you want to have your invalidation of the trade set before you even pull the trigger on the position, right? You want to get into your position understanding, well, hey, I want to get in, say here. If we break the high, I want to get out, right? This is just a random example, right? So just to save yourself from ever being in this position again, I can almost promise you're going to be in this situation again, because although it's easy to say, just set your stop loss and stick to the plan, it is very simple, but not that easy, right? Because you have the emotion come in and you just want to kind of react off of things as a human. You know, we're very emotional beings. So you're probably still going to be in the situation, but if you could just stick to the plan, right? You want to set, hey, I'm going to enter in short here, right? Or say, for example, say like, let's say you shorted here, right? It was going really good, right? Your thought process should be like, hey, I'm going to go short here. If I break back above this high, let's just say this is the high you don't want to break, or this is the high you don't want to break. You want to set your stop loss based off the chart before you even enter the position, right? And then you set your stop loss, right? And then you walk away. Right? You do not have to watch the position. If it plays out, then it plays out. If it doesn't, you stop out for the loss that you've already accepted the loss for, right? You've already seen on the exchange, if I hit my stop loss, I'm going to lose. The estimated P&L will be this much loss, right? Which should only be 1 to 2% of your account. So, you should never be in this position. If you are in this position, it is a mistake on the execution of your trade, right? So just to help you not be in that position ever again, make sure you have that, right? Because if price did come up, you just want to get out of here because you're saying, hey, if I break this high, I'm going to anticipate a continuation to the upside. Again, it's going to be different based off each trade. I usually use SFPs as a example for like where to set stop losses, because SFPs have a super like clearly defined stop loss, right? Because it's just above the wick that you SFP, right? So for example, if you were looking for an SFP here, this is a good example, right? If you see a swing failure pattern, you come down, you come up, you close your candle above, you look for a long position, you enter, right? Your thought process here is like, say, hey, I want to target up here. My stop loss is going to go right below this wick. If I break below this wick, I want to get out of the position, because if we come back down here and it doesn't go my way, I want to get out of this position because I'm anticipating a continuation to the downside, right? So that's how you should be setting your stop loss. And like, should you hold your position? It's kind of hard. I can't really tell you whether to close it or hold it. I could tell you to close it and then it plays out, right? I could tell you to hold it and then it doesn't play out and you get wrecked. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some crazy guy on YouTube. But what I would say is the best advice I can give you is make sure you don't put yourself in those positions. And I speak from experience. I've been in those positions a million times, right? And it's stressful and it's horrible and I know the pain. So really the best advice I can give you, not financial advice, of course, is just like, don't put yourself in that position by pre-setting your stop loss. You have to have a plan. If you have a trade without a plan, you are not trading, you are gambling, right? So make sure, you kind of nip that in the bud and you kind of just correct that as soon as possible, right? You want to learn from that mistake and move forward without repeating it. Again, for me personally, I think it's a sticky situation. This is a particularly hard situation to be in, right? Because at the end of the day, again, back to the beginning of the analysis that we were doing, right? We look at this, it's like, could you get a cool off here? I mean, you got the 1 hour red dot printing, but you're also attempting to hold this anchored VWAP as support. So me personally, if I were in this position, right, and if I was at a loss that I was not willing to be in, right, for me, I would just cut the loss, right? But that doesn't mean, right, you could cut the loss. You have to be accepting. You have to just accept that you were wrong. You don't know what's going to happen here. And if it comes back down in your favor and you already closed it off as a loss, you have to just see that as that was a loss, and that's okay. Right? You don't want to just like hold on to the position with hope, but just understand that it could eventually correct, right? And like, you're always going to be able to look in hindsight and be like, oh, I should have held that trade, or oh, I should have closed that trade. And that's why you want to have a plan ahead of time, right? Like, for example, like right now, I mean, the situation is a little different now because we've moved so much. But for my long position here, right? I was long from, I believe it's right here, right? I'm long from here. Do I have this open? Bada boom, right? So this is my long position, right? At this point, right, like, let's pretend my stop loss is already at break even, but like, let's assume that my stop loss was down here, right? I don't care, right? Unless something really specific happens, right? If we came up here and price came back down, right, I'm out of the position if we cross this level, no matter what, right? And that's the plan. My plan is like, hey, well, if we come up, right, I'm going to look for this to fill the range in full, right? If we come down, I want to get out at my predetermined stop loss, right? That's the plan, right? If I just enter this and hope that we come up from here and I don't have a stop loss set based off the chart, right? What am I doing? I'm gambling, right? I'm just hoping it comes up. And then if it comes down, when am I willing to cut the loss, right? Am I just going to wait until, sure, you can manually stop yourself out, right? But you want to have that plan first off, right? You 100% want to have that plan, because if you don't have the plan, you're gambling, and that's how you wind up in those situations. So I know you just want to hear, hold it, it's going to dump, or they'll close it, we're going to pump. Very difficult situation right now, especially with like the aftermath of FOMC. The volatility kind of messed up the indicators, so there are some mixed signals here. But yeah, if you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I go over kind of my thoughts on what the lower time frames are going to do. I do think there's a chance that we correct short term, but yeah, it really depends. It also depends on what your entry is. If I knew everything, I would be able to give like a little bit of better direction. But yeah, hopefully, Hopefully that helps you out. Me personally, I would probably just cut the loss and if I didn't have a plan, right, I would just cut the loss and just reassess the situation, accept the loss, and move forward. Let's see. Shout out to Farman says, big day coming tomorrow. President Trump is set to speak at the Digital Asset Summit. Frankie Candles, what do you think about this? Could this be a classic buy the rumor, sell the news event? Shout out to Farman. Listen, I'm going to talk about this on XRP. I talked to Tony D about this. Show me the charts. I'll tell you the news, right? I did not, my anticipation here to, on Bitcoin, this is going to make more sense on XRP, which we're going to get into in a second. If you guys want to go ahead and drop some altcoins in the chat right now, drop them in and Rob the Crypto Stomp will count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. Rob, let's do like 2 requests and then I'm going to run through a bunch that I have in mind. Shout out to Bearded Mac says, where is Sui's fixed range volume profile to go up to? Shout out, we'll take a look at Sui because I want to cover that as well. It's one I actually already want to look at. So Sui, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, all the big boys. We're going to look at them. And then, yeah, drop those altcoins in the chat right now. But like, why was I anticipating to come up here? Did it have anything to do with what I thought Jerome Powell was going to say, what I thought the meeting was going to do? It had nothing to do with that. It had absolutely zero to do with that, right? What did it have to do with it? It had to do with the liquidity that we had sitting up here on the chart. That's it. I stick to the charts 100% of the time. And then, you know, whatever that news is or whatever that thing is, that brings us up there. And again, I'm going to cover this on XRP and show you like a perfect example of this. It does not matter to me what the news is, right? You trade based off the charts, you trade based off the signals, and then you just let the news fill in. Right? Like, I'm not saying we had news here, but I'm just saying, right? Like, if I were long from here, like, let's just pretend, right? I am long from here. I'm not pretending, right? I am long from here, right? And let's say we pumped up here off of some news. I don't care what that news is. I was already expecting this move up based off the technicals. Fill in whatever news you want here, right? And that's just the way I trade. If you're trading news, I don't really know anybody that just trades news. I don't see how that could be profitable, right? Because more often than not, when the news comes out, it's too late anyway, right? But yeah, that is what I'm looking at. Real quick, I'm just going to jump right into XRP here, guys. Let's see. Okay, so actually, let me pull it up on this chart, right? So just to kind of hammer this home a little bit further here, right? If you guys watch the live stream, you know what we've been looking at for Ethereum, for XRP, right? And what do we have here, right? Like, you can just look at this and kind of anticipate what I'm going to say, right? Very simply put, I can get rid of this fib. That's old, right? But, you know, what are we looking at here? We have our volume profile. Where are we looking for longs? We're looking at for longs where the asset is undervalued, which is below the value area low. This is the cheap asset. This is where we look for longs, right? Whether you're looking for a long here, that would have been a nice little scalp, but then you just came back down. But what do we have here, right? You have some nice bullish divergences, at least on the 1 hour, right? You have the lower lows on your price action. You have the higher lows on your momentum waves, right? And then you look for that move back into the range, flip the value area low to support, and then you look for the POC and the value area high to fill in full. And then we wound up yeeting up a little bit higher. And in this current situation, right? Oh my God, the lawsuit's over. The lawsuit's over. Tell me why we were looking for longs right here. It's the same exact situation, right? We have the lower lows on price, higher lows on our momentum waves, right? That gives us the idea of like, hey, if we get a bounce here and we can reclaim that value area low, especially when you see the money flow starting to come into the green on many different time frames. In this case, we're on the 1 hour. Hold that value area low to support. Where's the next likely place for price to go? You're going to be looking to go to the POC. Once you hit that POC, you're going to expect some kind of resistance, right? This is the strongest level within your profile, so you can expect some turbulence, right? A little bing bong down. But then eventually you're going to be looking for a flip of that POC to support and then push into the value area high, right? So when you ask me, oh my God, XRP lawsuit, we pumped, like XRP lawsuit over. If you were trading the news there, right, you would have entered in somewhere on this gigantic candle, right? You definitely wouldn't have gotten the low, right? You probably would have entered somewhere up here, right? And you'd be kind of sitting at break even, right? But when you trade the charts, where would you be long from? You'd be long from somewhere below that volume profile, right? And you would be all the way up here enjoying those gains with a much, much better entry, right? So it's like, you look at this and it's like, I don't look for a long down here because I think the lawsuit's going to end, or I think that even if there was a planned meeting where they were going to announce if it was over or going to continue, whatever it was, right? I don't even pay attention to that. I don't even know a lot of the time that this stuff happens, right? I'll be like, hey, we're going to look for a move up to about 260 on XRP, right? And then I'm like, oh, look at that. The volume profile filled in full. Absolutely beautiful. Flip the low to support, go to the POC, and then after that, you're looking to continue your journey up to the value area high. Sometimes I don't even know the news happens, right? And I'm just like, oh, you see the full fill of the range, and people are like, oh my God, the lawsuit ended. I'm like, oh, I mean, doesn't really change what I was looking at, but hey, that's nice, right? So, you know, that's where you want to be looking for the longs, and then just fill whatever news in wherever you want. So yeah, I don't really have too much of an opinion, you know, on the news in general, right? So yeah, but yeah, other than that, guys, I want to talk about some of these next targets for XRP, right? I mean, we got to the value area high. We pretty much tapped it, right? We barely front ran it. We also have the golden pocket, right? Not only was this a value area high, it was also our golden pocket retracement when pulled from this current high to the current low, right? Or this high to the current low. Right? We get that golden pocket, and when that golden pocket is very, very confluent with that value area high, it makes this an even higher probability area to get hit. Why is that? Well, simply put, guys, you have the volume. Like, let's pretend you're not even looking at the volume profile, right? Like, let's just say, let's get this off the chart real quick, right? We're not even looking at the volume profile, right? We don't even care about this volume profile, right? We're just looking at Fibonacci retracements. What would we be looking for, right? Let's just say, like, I mean, I don't know how else you would, you know, me personally, I look at the volume profiles with bull divs, right? And bullish confirmations below the low is really what I look for the moves up, right? So I don't know how else you would look for a move up. Maybe you're trading a pattern or something. I don't know. But, you know, if I were long here, where would a big target for me be? Well, it's probably going to be, I'll have some local targets, right? And then maybe your local target is a local Fibonacci retracement, maybe from this lower high to the low, which hilariously enough was right where that POC is, right? So whether you're using the volume profile or Fibonacci retracements, like oftentimes the targets are going to be the same, right? Because in the terms of the volume profile, this is your POC. In terms of Fibonacci, it's your local golden pocket 786, right? But these would be the targets if I were just trading Fibonacci that I'd be looking at, right? Golden pocket 786 would be target number one. Once you break out of that 786, the next target would be the overall from the high to the low golden pocket, not value area high, because again, we're not looking at that right now, right? And even if you don't want to talk about the, if you just want to look at the full targets here, right, regardless of the local targets, like, hey, I'm going to long here. Where can I target? Very often, you're going to be looking at Fibonacci retracements, right? This is a very common tool for all traders to be looking at targets for their trades, right? Like, oh, I'm going to long here. Maybe they don't even pay attention to the volume profile. I don't know why. It makes it so much cleaner and so much easier to digest by looking at the volume profiles. But let's just say, like, oh, we hit support, bullish divergence. I'm going to take a long. Right, where am I going to look to target? Well, hey, let me pull my fib from the most recent swing high to the low, and you could start to target the golden pocket, and then if you break that golden pocket, your next target could be the 786, right? But again, you know, for me personally, obviously, I'm a volume profile. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not an ETH maxi. I'm not an XRP maxi, but I am a volume profile maxi for sure. And the reason for that is because it is basically a money printer. But that is what we're looking at, right? If we break above that golden pocket, very simply and very naturally, guys, we are going to be looking for that 786 to get tapped here. $2.78. Once you flip above that, I will simply be looking to target the kind of mini volume profile that we have created up here on that last big rip to the upside. Value area low sitting at $3.04. I'll say POC value area low together between 304 and 310. Flip that POC to support. Look up towards that value area high at 328. Right? And that is very simply going to be what I'm looking at, right? If this is going to continue to rip, I'm going to be looking for the 786, right? Maybe we get a little correction, right? And you could even potentially look for shorts here if you're looking to range trade. Now, based off the 4-hour money flow, right, coming back into the green, maybe that's not going to be the best idea. We'll have to reassess the situation if we deviate here. But that's the next targets, right? Next target to the upside, 786, right here. $2.78. Break above that, I'm looking up towards 304 to 310. Flip that, looking up to 328, and then potentially beyond. And then who knows, right? If we pump again, right? Maybe Trump mentions XRP tomorrow, and we launch into here, right? Was that based off the news, or was it based off the asset being very undervalued and coming into your next targets? That's how I trade, right? It keeps the emotion out, right? You don't have to pay attention to the news. You don't have to be like, well, the way he worded that, was that bullish, right? No, we're just trading the charts. It's simple information and hard data. So those are the next targets. Can we see XRP continue up based off our money flow, right? 12-hour green dot printing, 45-minute money flow crossed over into the green. Not too shabby. So yeah, if we push up, I'd be looking most locally to 263 to 278 as our next targets. Let's see if we can get there. Shout out to the XRP army, baby. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Bearded Max. Said you drew that golden pocket, Frankie. Yes, we've been looking at this golden pocket ever since we created this low down here. This golden pocket has been on the chart. literally for, I mean, we can go back to the live streams and figure it out, but I mean, as soon as we knew this was like some kind of a low, right? We've been looking at that right here, right? If someone told me to look at the XRP chart, hey, Frankie, mark up this volume profile, very simply, I'd be like, okay, let me see here. Volume profile, hey, I'll just do this live for you, right? 45-minute money flow starting to come up here a little bit. Check the 1 hour, right? 1 hour money flow is attempting to come up. We have a red dot, so maybe we bing bong around, but we do have bullish divergences. Higher lows, lower lows, giving us the idea that we could potentially get a reversal here. And we know if we break above this value area low, we could potentially hold it, go to the POC, and then go to the value area high. Now let me check my Fibonacci retracements. I would pull from the swing high to the swing low. And then when I see this in perfect confluence, I'm like, well, hey, this makes that value area high a super fire target, right? Because I'm just like, hey, you have the golden pocket and the value area high. If we're going to get the full golden pocket retracement, that would make sense. And once we get above this volume profile and hold this as support at the value area low, it makes sense to fill that volume profile in full. And if that money flow continues to come up, you have like 3 or 4 levels of confluence to anticipate the continuation. Right? And then obviously we know what's going to happen here, right? But I'll just play it through because understand, right? Like it's hard, right? Because you see this and you're like, oh my God, we're getting a rejection from the value area low. Oh my God, right? But look at that money flow. Now the money flow is crossing over into the green as you're holding the value area low as support. That looks pretty good, right? You continue through, test the low again. And then eventually we know what happens, right? You come up to test the POC, right? And if I were to pull another golden pocket 786 retracement, I would just pull the local. Right? And then this would be confluent. Come on. With the POC, right? So it's like, well, hey, even if we go for the local retracement, that's pretty confluent with the POC. So you're thinking like, hey, once you get above here, and then again, like you add the even more confluence here with the money flow coming into the green. Once that money flow crosses into the green, especially if it happens at the same time as a 16-hour green dot, you have the market cipher B116 strategy. And look at that, you had it, right? 16-hour green dot. 1 hour money flow crossover into the green, that's where you're looking for the continuation of the trend to the upside, right? So it's not just one thing, right? It's many things pointing in the right direction. And that's kind of how I came to that conclusion. So yes, 100% not only drew that, but like we drew that a long time ago. And we've been looking at that level for quite some time. It takes some time to get there, but there we are. Finally getting it to play out. And let me just undo all that so I can, well, I'll just redraw it because I want to keep these on the chart. Whoops. Come on. Bear with me here, guys. Get rid of the brush. Turn this to purple, right? Just so we can get those targets back on the chart. So there you go. If we continue up, right? And again, this is the volume profile. This is typically where we look for shorts if we deviate above the high, right? But we'll see. If you don't get bearish confirmations, you continue up. Look for the 786. No bearish confirmations there. Flip that. I'd look to come up here. Very simply put. Let's see. Shout out to Wick 589. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any other super chats real quick here, guys. But shout out to, funny enough, I missed one from Wick 589. Well, first one says, Frankie, what's your take on XRP overtaking ETH? Shout out to Wick. Maybe it happens, right? That would be, potentially, right? I would never say it's impossible. A lot of people be like, that'll never happen. I think it's definitely possible. It's happened before, right? XRP was number 2 in 2017, I think. So it wouldn't be a place. Number 2 spot would not be a place that XRP hasn't been. So yeah, definitely possible in my opinion. That does not mean that I think Ethereum's dead forever either. Just keep that in mind, right? And shout out to Wick again. Thank you for the super chat. Said, you always hold viewers on XRP. I notice. What's your spiel on XRP market cap overtaking ETH's XRP BTC? I think a pipe dream. But look at all the while in the market be doing right now, and XRP like. I can't tell what that emoji is. But shout out to Wick. Yeah, I mean, listen. Could it happen? Yeah, maybe. Like I said, it has happened, I think, in the past. You could go on CoinMarketCap and go into like the historic feature. But yeah, I'm pretty sure XRP was at some point. I mean, listen, if the difference is, right, this is how I think XRP overtakes ETH, right? XRP gets crazy news, right? Like, okay, lawsuit over. Sure, we got the pump to the upside. That's really nice. But like if you get XRP specific news, right? Because you have to think of this, right? Like if we see like an alt season come in, a lot of the alts are going to come up, right? So at that point, right, XRP is coming up in market cap, right? But Ethereum's rising as well. So it kind of just has to chase. Whereas if you get XRP specific like news, maybe that causes a ton of FOMO on XRP. And that's where XRP maybe could pump harder than Ethereum, and then maybe a ton of money dumps into XRP, and then that's where Ethereum gets flipped. But yeah, I mean, it's we'll see what happens. I think that's, again, if it's just like a traditional alt season, if we see all alts pushing up, it's going to be hard, right? Because it's like XRP is going to be pumping, market cap's going to be going up, but Ethereum is going to be coming up as well, right? So it's kind of just chasing a moving goalpost. But if XRP gets some like lone XRP news, that could be, and then maybe XRP drags Ethereum up. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that could play out. Shout out to Wick, though. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think it's impossible. Like I said, I think if someone could probably fact check me on that, I think it's already happened. Somebody said, oh, Bitcoin pushing up. Can't make it up. Cannot make it up, guys. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick. Let's pull up that liquidity. Where's it at? Boom! And shout out to Woozy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. Said, look at BTC. Oh, coming up to the liquidity. Oh, man. Liquidity acts as a magnet for price, guys. You can't make it up. You simply can't make it up. It was a magnet one time today, and it's a magnet 2 times today. Unbelievable. These medium hourly time frame VWAPs are just getting overextended as price continues to get sucked up towards that liquidity. If that does not prove that liquidity is a magnet for price, not only once today, but twice today, market update, we look for the push up from here into that liquidity. We know it acts as a magnet. And just before in the beginning of the stream, we say, hey, if we could flip that flip that anchored VWAP, let's pull up the bigger range, flip that anchored VWAP to support, pull up a lower time frame here, right? Flip that anchored VWAP to support. Whoops. That liquidity will be a magnet for price. So we'll see if we can push up into this. I will be honest. Yeah, this is where the, it did really start at 86.2, but the significant liquidity is up here. So we'll see if we can continue to push up through that liquidity. Not too shabby. Shout out to Woozy and shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chats, guys. I appreciate you all. Let's see. Let's jump back into chat. Nobody's here for the tech. Shout out to Tony Roaz. I'm here for the charts, baby. Let's go. It's FOMO time. FOMO long Bitcoin 100x, baby. Let's go. XRP overtook. Where's it go? 100% XRP was number 2. Okay, yeah. I think it was in 2017. It was number 2. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're looking at. I mean, what's XRP doing? Let's go back. Where's she at? Bada boom, bada bing. All right. So yeah, we'll see. XRP trying to push up too. See if we can push up into that actual golden pocket because we technically front ran this, right? Let me actually tighten up this box. Right? We actually front ran that golden pocket value area high just slightly. Let's see if we could do it. I'll be honest with you. 1 hour VWAP and momentum waves looking like you could kind of bear div out there, right? Which would call for a push up into that golden pocket. We'll see if we can get it. Shout out to Kodan. Said LFG Frankie, you're the best. Shout out to Kodan. I appreciate you, bro. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, I will be giving away. I don't know. We'll give away something. I don't know. We usually give away some crypto. But yeah, we'll probably just give away some crypto. XRP is your daddy. Shout out to XRP. XRP can be the daddy. I'm okay with that as long as it's going up. Let's see. Shout out to Soft Taco. Yeah, shout out to Cigar. Says they burned the short, so you know they're going to be gunning for the longs next. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. They definitely are. Let's pull it back over here on the original chart. Let's see. Bada boom. Bada boom. Bada bing. Let's see if I can pull up the... Let's pull up the liquidation heat map really quickly. Let's pull up a lower time frame. Yeah. So you could see, I mean, we saw the liquidity on the higher time frames, but you could see we just took a little bit of it here, a little hot spot at 86.4, which is where it starts, and it does run up to about 87,000. what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to see where the long licks are. 80,900 is like the next hot spot on long liquidations. Let's go down to a lower time frame. Because a lot of people probably FOMO longing right now. Yeah, I mean, 83.5, 83.6, which again is going to bring you down closer to that value area low. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. We know liquidity acts as a magnet for price, guys. I mean, you cannot make it up. Shout out to anybody who just watched this whole stream, like in real time. We don't just make this stuff up. We don't just guess. I mean, we are technically guessing, right? I would say educated guessing. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Liquidity, understanding liquidity, guys, is one of the most important things you can learn about when learning how to trade, right? Understanding that liquidity is where price likes to get attracted to. And when you start to combine that with the idea of, hey, like what we looked at before, hey, we're getting back inside the volume profile. We flipped it to support. Can we see the continuation of the push up? And if we continue to push up here, right, it could give us the fuel that we need to continue through the rest of the profile into the POC. I'll be honest, I do think that this is a little bit of an aggressive pump to the upside. If we do just come take this liquidity and shoot into the golden pocket POC, that'd be really, really aggressive. You have to anticipate some short-term volatility. But yeah, you can see here, guys, remember above equal highs is where liquidity resides. Did we sweep that? Nope, we didn't sweep that. We kind of just swept these local wicks here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But there you go. That's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Target acquired. Again, just to be clear, in case we do see it happen on the live stream, we're starting to get some moves. If we flush out all this liquidity and we keep pushing, we do not get an aggressive dump from those shorts getting swept. Right, next target, golden pocket at 88K. Right, that's what we're looking for. So yeah, honestly, there's even liquidity sitting above here as well, above about 87. Let me pull it up real quick. Right, yeah, right here, 88K. You still have some liquidity up here as well. Pull up the 12-hour. Come on, there we go. So yeah, I would say, a lot of the liquidity, 80 locally, 83.5. Yeah, right down here. You definitely have liquidity sitting below. We'll see what happens. I just wish there was a more significant wick that we had here. Right? I like to look for the SFPs on big wicks. We don't really have any significantly big wicks up here. Shout out to the big wicks out there. And the average size wicks. Average size wicks are okay as well. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Alan, said, I'm sorry for asking this, but how do we know where liquidity is? Hey, shout out to Alan. Never apologize for a question. There are no stupid questions here in the Candle Mafia. My purpose to be here is to teach you guys. And there's a few different ways, right? You can look at it. You can look on the chart, right? You could try to identify when I mention liquidity, all I'm referencing are stop losses in the market or liquidation levels in the market. So you're just trying to identify where shorts or longs have their stop losses or liquidation levels, right? So you have to kind of use the theory of, if I were to short here, right, for example, right, people within this range, right, when you have ranging price action with equal highs like we have here, right, the thought process is if people are shorting here, right, where are their stop losses going to go, right? Well, if I'm shorting here, my stop loss is probably going to go above this high or potentially above this high, right? And when you have tons of people shorting, right, anyone shorting on these moves, right, because price just dumped, people are going to be looking for shorts, right, all that liquidity, right, and all those stop losses are all at different places, right? So you have a bunch of stop losses up here, a bunch of stop losses down here, right? And then you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, theoretically, if we come up, we know that when you get stopped out of a short position, it creates a market buy. That's what a short squeeze is, right? So once those shorts start to get kicked out, right, and they start to get stopped out, that's where that market buy pressure starts to come in, and that's why you see those big pushes up through those liquidity levels, right? So you get that theoretically, that's how you want to think about where liquidity is sitting in the market, and then you could just use the assistance of the liquidation heat maps like I just did, pull it back up, right? Let me pull back up the 2-week here real quick, right? And then you use the liquidation heat maps to kind of identify, right? You're looking at this and you're saying hey, those are some nice equal highs. I know above equal highs liquidity resides, right? And then you could kind of come back to the liquidation heat maps and say, well, hey, we actually are showing liquidations starting at about 87 all the way up to about 88, right? And then you look at this and you're like, well, hey, 87 to 88, right? That's right above these highs. That makes a lot of sense. Right? So you're just kind of using the heat maps to confirm where you're already anticipating where where liquidity is lying, right? There's a whole bunch of different tools that you can use to identify where liquidations are, but you can do it by just looking at the charts. The liquidation heat maps just kind of give you a visual aid to where those liquidations are sitting. Let's see. Shout out to Ryan Smith said, "Hey Frankie, are there any discounts for Market Cypher B for the premium Discord members?" Shout out to Ryan. I wonder if we could maybe work that out. We do have discounts. If you use my discount code, I'll pull it up on the screen here. MC Frank 20 to save 20% on Market Cypher. If you're interested, we don't have any specific. We don't have any specific discounts for premium members. We could probably try to work on that. But what we do have, guys, I forgot to mention this. FOMC is actually helping us give away free months of the premium Discord. So if you've been looking to get into the premium Discord, FOMC is going to give away some free months to the CandleMafia members who are signed up on our FOMC link. We're going to be doing that giveaway. I believe, Tony D, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be doing that giveaway in the kitchen. So I'll talk about how to get into the kitchen. But if you go to the free Discord, you'll see, I'm not the kitchen. We're going to be doing it in the dining room. The kitchen is the premium. So if you're already on our FOMC links, you are already in the dining room, very likely. If you're not, go to the free Discord, go to the dining room, go to unlock access. It'll tell you how to get access to the dining room, and we're going to run some free months of the premium Discord in there and give them away. I forget exactly how many we have. Tony D, if you could drop some details in here on a super chat, that would be super helpful. So definitely check that out, guys, if you want to try to get a free month of the premium Discord. You just got to be signed up under our affiliate link with FOMC, and yeah, there you go. Jason Stratham is, I don't know if they still have that discount going on. You could save 20% with our discount code, but they did just do a 50% off discount. I don't know if it's still running. If that is running on their website with that discount code Jason Stratham, that is definitely use that, right? That's better than the 20%. That's 50%. So go use that if it's still available. If not, you could check ours out for 20%. Tony D said more details on Friday, but get into the dining room. We will be doing 10 free memberships every week for the next 5 weeks. There we go. 50 full month free trials of the premium. Let's go. It's still active. Yes. Okay. So shout out to whoever asked for that. Go to marketcyphertrading.com, I believe. Just go to Market Cypher's website and get 50% off. Don't use our link, please. Save more money. Eddie C said use the same code as CryptoFace. No, MC Frank 20 is my discount code. That gets you 20% off, but they're currently running a deal for 50% off if you use the Jason Stratham link or discount code. So there you go. It runs out on Friday. So there you go. You got until Friday to get that 50% off on their thing, on the discount code on their website. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Crypto Infinity. Said, dang, I remember when we had 200 people in here. Now we got 1.3K. Let's go. Shout out to the CandleMafia, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Consider smashing the like button if you appreciate this free value that we give every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A Jester says 45 for the dining room. No, the dining room is free. I guess I could pull this up real quick just to explain it. The dining room, well, this is the premium Discord, but the dining room is our freemium section of the Discord. We have our completely free community, and then we have this is also free, the dining room. But all you have to do to get into the dining room is if you're signed up with any of our affiliates, you just come on in here, go to dining room, unlock access, and then just read through this. This will tell you exactly how to get access. And then you just click on whatever exchange you used. You can't see them all, but you can see Mexi and Blowfin here. FOMC is there as well. So you just click on in there, drop your user ID, and just read through these instructions to tell you how to get in. But all you need to do is sign up with our link, drop your UID, and then you'll get access not only to the dining room where you get one free premium TA post, right? So even if you don't win a free month of the Discord, you'll at least see one free premium post here. So if you kind of just want to dip your toes in and see what we do in the premium, you can get in here. It's totally free. It doesn't cost money to sign up with our link, obviously. And you'll get one free post per week. We obviously post every day in the Discord, the actual premium Discord. But yeah, it's basically, you get like this is like premium light, but it's like super light. We only do it one day a week. But then you'll also be able to do the giveaway to get a free month of the actual premium Discord. But you have to be in the dining room to get that giveaway. And then if you win, we'll put you in the full kitchen, which is the full premium Discord where you'll get posts every single day. So there you go. Bada boom. Bada bing. Let's see if we can continue pushing up through these liquidations, guys. Al Jr. said, we appreciate you appreciating us, and that's very appreciating. Shout out to Al Jr. said, Mafia LFG, Frankie, bring back the wheel that's manually rolled like a TBT. Yo, shout out to Al Jr. We should bring back a physical wheel. I'm not going to lie. The digital wheel is so much more versatile. We could change it so much easier. And let's be honest, that physical wheel that we used to use was 100% unbalanced. Basically, shout out to Tony D. Says, thank you for the super chat. He says, basically, giveaways will run every Friday night, and winners will have to verify their FEMX UID to claim the free month. Tune in on Friday's live stream. We'll have more information. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, let's take a look here. Gen Z says, resistance on a weekly naked point of control. It must be a TradingView weekly naked point of control, I would assume, because I don't see it here on my XO and POCs. Let's take a look here. Interesting. I actually don't see an MPOC there. I'm not saying it's not there, Gen Z. I just don't see it based off of the ones that I'm looking at. Interesting. But yeah, liquidity acts as a magnet for price, guys. Shout out to the CandleMafia. This is crazy. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely our overall range, guys. And I'm going to we took a look at XRP. We talked about the targets to the upside. I'm going to take a look at SUI. And then we will also take a look at some other alts as well. I want a Frankie t-shirt just to take it off. Just to take it off and wear it on my shoulder to impress women. Yo, shout out to Nirvana. Just like take it off. Just let it all out. Let it hang over the, have a nice workout and just, flop it all dramatically. Throw it over the shoulder. I love it. Yeah, let's take a look at ETH real quick. We'll see. I mean, we'll keep an eye here on Bitcoin. This is definitely the range to be looking at. Beautiful flip of the low. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's take a look at Ethereum here. Now, as you guys know, yesterday, or I mean, not even yesterday, but for quite some time, we have been looking at very similar levels to XRP. Not price-wise, but just kind of not structure-wise either, just like Fibonacci-wise, right? We got our drop out of the $2,100 value area low. We impulsed out. We came back down to this value, this lower area of balance. We came to the POC. We bing-bonged around. And yesterday, where we were looking at kind of similar stuff as Bitcoin, right? Looking for a, 15-minute money flow crossover. I talked about this on the market update earlier. 15-minute money flow crossover with the 4-hour green dot. If we were able to get that to continue our trend to the upside, our next targets on Ethereum were the golden pocket, sitting between 2,000 and technically $19.97 all the way up to $2,010, right? We got above there, flipped it to support, where our next target was starting at the 786, sitting at $2,053. And what do we have here, guys? Perfect. I mean, hot dang. I'm going to just fix the purple box to get more accurately. I mean, yeah, just barely front ran that 786, pretty much tapped it. But yeah, target 1 acquired, target 2 acquired. If we continue up here for Ethereum, I will say this, guys. Next target is going to be to travel through this blue box or purple box. I'm not colorblind, I swear. Shout out to all the colorblind people out there. Value area low / doorway to higher prices sitting at $2,100. Target 1 acquired, target 2 acquired, target 3 sitting right here, $2,100. This is a very key level, guys, because if we get above here and flip it to support, it could potentially open the door up to the POC at 2320. Again, just looking at it in terms of a volume profile. Simply put, break out of this range. Once you impulse out of this volume profile, where are you going to be looking at? You're going to be looking up towards the previous area balance. Flip that to support. You'll be looking up, go up towards that POC. Now, I'm going to take this golden pocket 786 off the chart just because we've already tapped it. Keep in mind, this could be resistance, right? We could cool off from there. 4-hour VWAP is on the way to the downside, looking for a potential crossover for a red dot. But money flow does say that you could continue to the upside. Now, this does not mean that we are necessarily going off to all-time highs. Hopefully, that is the case, right? I think ETH needs to catch a break here. But just be aware, guys. We have a lot of resistance above, right? Even when we pull from this high to the low, we have a golden pocket. Actually, I'd probably move this down to here to get a little confluence on the POC. So, if we get above the value area low, a.k.a. doorway to higher prices, we will be looking for a move into the POC, which sits at 2320. But the golden pocket comes in just before that at about 2240. Right? Get above the POC. 786 is at 2380. So that would be kind of the next bigger target range for Ethereum if we can flip that value area low to support. Push up in here, flip above that. We can look to come up to some of the higher prices, right? And then we are just looking in context of the larger volume profile, right? Deviation below the low, right? We also have this lower profile down here. But essentially, this is a deviation below this volume profile. If we get back in, we look to go to the next likely place for price to go is going to be the POC. Flip the 786. Next likely place for price to go is going to be the value area high, right? Obviously, there's going to be a ton of like local resistance in here that we are going to be somewhat at risk of rejecting, right? Because again, if you come up to the higher time frames, very similar to Bitcoin. I know it's exciting that everything is pumping here, but we have to keep our head on straight. With the money flow still in the red on the 2 days. Still pretty early in the crossover as well. 3 days still in the red as well. So, until that money flow starts to shape up on the higher time frames, we have to be aware of lower highs and lower lows, right? Whether that happens at the local retracement here or up in here is, we'll have to assess the situation as we come into the resistance. But again, I know this feels good, but we just have to be prepared for some potential more pain based off money flow in the higher time frames. Hopefully, we could just get that back in the green and we don't have to deal with it. And we can, I want this thing to go off into all-time highs, probably more than everybody else. I hold a ton of ETH, guys. But, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But those are the levels I'm looking at. We got our targets hit. And just don't forget, next target to the upside, 786 sitting at 2060, right? And then the value area low at 2100. Flip that. We could push up into these higher targets. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Remember, guys, also the value area lows, like when you approach a value area low from underneath, it's his resistance until proven otherwise, right? So like oftentimes you will get some kind of a pullback. Sometimes you bing bong around down here before getting accepted back in. Let's just hope, right, that this 786 is not going to be, right? This is a local 786 retracement. Let's just hope that 786 is not just going to put in an aggressive lower high for a breakdown to this value area low at $1,600. But we'll see what happens, right? We're going to push up. We won't go too much over the bearish cases. We're just going to enjoy the push up here, guys. So there we go. Let's see. Shout out to P-Dub said, we all dreamed of having that Top Gun thirst trap moment showing off a Frankie Candles t-shirt. I'm taking my shirt off, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm not taking my shirt off. I don't want to get banned here. I don't think we would get banned. But shout out to Retro Mike Tech, said a fantastic point of view. Shout out to Retro Mike Tech. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone in chat, but I'm going to pretend you're talking to me, even if you're not. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to RNT, baby. ETH at 3K, everyone. We go to 10K. ETH below 2K. Shout out to Nirvana. Oh, ETH below 2K. Nah, that's what I always say, guys. And again, just keep this in mind. If we get bigger dumps to the downside, right? Because remember, it all gets exciting, right? Like crypto has the memory of a goldfish. It is really hilarious. Like crypto sentiment has the memory of a goldfish, right? It's like everyone thought Ethereum was dead, and I'm sure everybody's like, oh my God, I missed the boat on Ethereum now, right? Maybe not, right? But I would assume a lot of people are probably, flip-flopping like that. But just understand, guys, this is how fast things can change, right? And again, like this isn't really like anything like that significant. A 6% pump on Ethereum, right? Could it be the start of something massive? Maybe. But again, this isn't like that big of a deal, right? We have this fast move down, fast move up, very predictable, right? Quick move down, quick move up, right? And then you have your targets. We came right into them. Pretty simple. But just understand, if we do come back down in here and flip that POC to resistance and we come down to the value area low, nobody's going to want Ethereum down here. Everyone's going to want Ethereum, not even up here, right? People are going to want Ethereum once it gets back up probably towards 4K, right? That's when everyone's going to want Ethereum, right? But nobody wants it down here. Keep that in mind. When everyone says something is dead, right? When everyone's saying, oh my God, this coin's dead, this coin's never coming back, oh my God, right? That is typically means that you're nearing a low, right? And we had a lot of fear come in here. Right? Everybody calling for the bear market. Oh my God, the bear market's here. And again, I'm not saying that this is a significant enough pump to say that, the bear market's definitely not here. But again, I don't fall into the camp that we're in a bear market, right? I've been very transparent about that. But just understand, oh my God, ETH is dead. All those same people are probably like, oh my God, I missed the boat on Ethereum. So just keep that in mind. And that sentiment, if we do come back down here, is going to be 10 times worse. But am I going to be, oh my God, ETH is dead? No, I'm probably buying spot ETH if we came down there, to be honest. I didn't buy any down here. But if we came down here, I'm probably buying spot ETH. Unless we had some like crazy bearish news on Ethereum where it really did seem like it was going to be dead. All right, let's see here. If ETH's below 1K, I would have sold a kidney. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Michael S. Didn't we all learn this by now? I think a lot of people, like a lot of the CandleMafia, especially a lot of you guys that have been here since like the start of this channel, and you guys have been here with us here for a few years now. A lot of the Mafia knows, right? But a lot of new people don't know. And I'll be honest, I'd say like a lot of people who have been in you have to understand, like a lot of people who have like a strong opinion on this stuff are just like, they hear like a YouTuber say something and they're just like regurgitating what they hear a YouTuber say. They're like, oh, this guy thinks it's dead, so I'm gonna say it's dead. So you just like, that's why I say like, you don't want to listen to other people. You want to have your own thesis. And like, I'm not saying that like watching, there's a lot of good content out there. I'm not saying that like digging for information on YouTube is bad. It's very good, right? But you have to take the information you're given and come to your own conclusion, right? Like if I were coming up here saying, oh my God, guys, ETH is dead, right? You could still think in your head like, okay, well, Frankie Candle says it's dead, but like, I don't know. I've been in crypto for a couple years now, and every time they say it's dead, it goes up, right? You know what else they call dead? Bitcoin. You know what else they call dead? Crypto. Down here. Crypto's dead. It's never going to another bull market, right? And it seems hard to believe that like people were saying that down here. They were. Oh my God, it's never coming back. Like, how could you possibly be bullish? Exchanges are going down. Regulation's going to crush this market. They're never going to let it go up. Best time to buy, right? And again, they were saying it here, right? Was that the best time to buy? Well, technically, this was the best time to buy. But you could play that game until you're blue in the face. This was the best time to buy. No, this was the best time to buy. No, this was the best time to buy, right? Like, so you just kind of have to, make your own decisions, right? Stand on your own 2 feet. Make your own decisions and come to your own conclusions. Don't just rely on other people, even me, right? Like, don't just rely on my levels, right? Like, do your own TA. Does it line up with your own TA? If it does, beautiful, right? Then you got more confluence. There's 2 traders that think it's going in the same direction. But anyway, let's see how to use the Fibonacci retracement properly. Shout out to Proud. Check out the beginner series. If you guys are new here, just understand we do have a beginner series, 100% free on YouTube. Just get in there, watch those tutorials. It will get you pretty much up to speed with a lot of what we look at here on the live stream. Shout out to Godlike said, buyers are liars. Shout out to Godlike. You mean like people say they're going to buy and they don't? Probably a lot of people do. Let's see. 18K, great time to buy. I really don't think we will see that again. Yeah, like 18K on Bitcoin? Yeah. I mean, heck yeah. Like 18K? Sure, 100%. Like down here, you buy, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm a genius. And then you come back down, you're like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I bought the top, right? But that's, again, you have to have a long-term outlook on this stuff, guys. And, hopefully coming up here, showing you guys, how looking at the charts can really give you a lot of confidence in your decisions, right? And you're not always going to be right based off the charts. You're not going to have a 100% hit rate. But, it really does. The charts are unbiased, right? They're not right 100% of the time, but they have no, I don't know. Where else are you going to get the information from? The news? By the time the news comes out, it's too late, right? Like think about that. Like a lot of people, right? And full transparency, guys. Like I own a lot of XRP. I am not even long on XRP from down here, but just for the argument's sake, right? Like you'll see a lot of people, breaking news, XRP about to moon. Oh my God, right? Like sure, long term, maybe we moon. But if you're listening and trading based off those headlines, it's like chances are you're probably going to get some kind of a pullback. So by the time you hear that news, you're kind of buying the top. Not necessarily the top forever, but you're buying a top, right? So when you look at the charts, you're just entering into your trades based off of information, right? And then you just let that news fill in the blank. So it's like I don't really know how people trade not understanding charts to any degree, right? You don't have to be a full analyst, right? You don't have to only go based off the charts, right? News is obviously important to pay attention to, but yeah, like I don't know. I just maybe I'm just biased because this is what clicks in my brain. But I mean, it happens time and time again. Like when the news comes out, like that is not where you want to be longing, right? You do not want to long on the news, right? It's the same thing on Bitcoin too, right? Like a lot of people bought in on the news of Trump getting elected, right? Oh my God, buy, right? Are they buying in here? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people FOMOing in here, but a lot of these people, right? They either buy on the way up like this or they buy once it starts hitting like 100K, right? And they're all buying in here, right? So you bought off of like, oh my God, Trump just got elected. This is the biggest thing to ever happen in crypto. Is that true? Maybe, right? But was this the best time to buy? Absolutely not. But the only people who were buying here were basically late because they waited to buy in before until they heard massive bullish news. Where were we buying in? We were buying in off technical bullish signals on the chart. What's a better entry? This, again, my entry is not perfectly at the low. My entry is like right here, right? Overall, I DCA'd in all on this way down and on this way up, right? So it kind of averaged in right here. What's a better entry? Getting in here or getting in here? When you go off news and just like general, like I don't know. Like I want to say like nonsensical headlines. It's like, oh my God, it's like when you hear people always like alt season incoming, alt season incoming. People have been saying that forever with like based off, I don't know what information. The best information I can see that they base that off of is like a lot of people thought alt season was going to happen in February because February has historically been a bullish month for crypto. That is not how the markets work, right? Because like this February might be different than last February or the last February where we might have seen a bullish case, right? So like trade based off that stuff, that's your entry. Trade based off charts and what we look for, right? Get this entry, right? Now, obviously, you still have to pull the trigger and everything, right? It's much easier to say, hey, buy down here, right? Like I always say this, guys. I felt like a moron buying down here, especially because I started DCAing in on this first drop down, right? I bought, and then I was like, oh no, I'm an idiot. So I just continue to buy. I felt like a moron buying down here. But every time I bought a bottom or sold a top, I felt like an idiot. Right? Like even times where I've taken profit, I'm like, oh man, I'm definitely selling too early. Right? And then what happens? It's usually from the top, right? When I feel like that. I'm not saying I sell the top every time. But when I feel like an idiot, whether I'm buying or selling, it's usually the best time to buy or sell. When you are thinking it's a no-brainer, right? Oh my God, we just got a pro-crypto president. Like this thing's going to moon. I'm definitely going to buy. Like this is a no-brainer. Typically you're buying the top. It's a weird psychological game. And that's why I'm here to give you guys this free value and help you guys genuinely make money in this market. That is my main focus here. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. BTC will dump once the liquidations end around 87.3. Shout out to Austin. Definitely a high probability situation. How far that dump goes, we'll have to take a look. Shout out to Gen Z said alt season will come November. Shout out. Get ready, y'all. Or ready up, y'all. Shout out to Gen Z. Alt season will start when QE begins. Whether that happens in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That is when alt season will start, in my opinion, right? You could try to estimate when that will happen. Very hard to call. And then you could potentially call for a month. But yeah, we'll see. Or never happens, and I'll just sell it a loss. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, it's a difficult situation, man. But yeah, no, I do think right. Like the best way to kind of try to guess time is, zoom the f out. Shout out to Michael S. Yeah, when in doubt, zoom out. I mean, it's so corny and it's so like cliche, right? Like when in doubt, zoom out. Like, but it is so true. When in doubt, zoom out, right? And that will usually bring peace. But yeah, like you could try to, in my opinion, right? Like until Bitcoin dominance comes down, until QE begins, that's where you're going to see the risk on assets run. If we go into a recession, right? I mean, that's probably gonna, if we're not already in one, until the QE begins, that is what's going to flood the liquidity into the market and give us an alt season. When that happens is literally anybody's guess. But people just like to take shots. They're like, I'm just going to fire on this. If it's right, it's right. But I like to be a little bit more, QT is slowing, right? Now, is that enough to send us into a massive alt season? I don't personally think so. Do I hope so? Absolutely. But I think it's really the QE. I think it's the QE that we need. Chemistry Bro said QE, not QT. Did I say QT? No, we need QE. QE, not QT. Do you think this alt and meme coin slaughter lowered everybody's price targets for if and when we get a true alt season and QE? Shout out to John. Maybe for me personally, I mean, my targets for Bitcoin are remain the same, right? Like right now, we are currently at my first target for Bitcoin, right, in this cycle. Let me just pull this up real quick. We are currently, that's not the chart. Let me see. I'll just pull it up on a blank chart here real quick. Right, my first target, we talk about this in like a pre-record a long time ago before we ever got the pump. But, my targets, right, but just based off Fibonacci, my Fibonacci extension levels, right? We are at target 1. For me, target number 1 was really technically the one that we were looking at was between 91 and 102K, right? This was target number 1. Technically, if you extend this down to that other fib target, 81K is really that whole zone, right? This was target number 1 for me. Target number 2 for me is personally sitting up here between 137 and 150K. Major targets, right? Major targets. When Bitcoin gets to between 137 and 155K, if we get up there, assuming that this is not a bear market, right? Which I don't think it is, right? I do still think there's a good shot that we can come up here, right? But as long as we don't just come up, put in lower highs, and then nuke down into a 4-year cycle bear market, right? Assuming that doesn't happen, my next major target's 137 to 155K. We come up here, guys, I'm taking a lot of profit on my Bitcoin. I know it sounds crazy. Frank, what about 200, 250? If we come up here, guys, just remember who was calling, right? If this happens, just remember people were calling for a bear market here. And again, could it be a bear market? Sure. We're not saying they're not, there's a chance of that being the case. I don't believe that, but there is a chance of it. Now, if we get up here, just understand, people are going to be calling for 250, 350, 500, 700, $1 million. There's going to be crazy bull cases once we get up here, if we get up here, right? I don't care, right? On the higher end, I'm looking at 155 to 209. I don't want to be calling, right, for 500K just to get views on YouTube and then have the mafia get wrecked. That is not my goal. That has never been my goal. My goal is to help you make money, not lose money so I can get clicks. I don't care. Right? I am here to genuinely help out the community, right? So I would rather be conservative, and me personally, right? I'm just sharing what I'm doing, right? I am not a financial advisor. If we come up here, I am taking a lot of profit. Now, why is that, right? Well, the specific situation I'm in is I'm in from about 20 to 21K. That means that if we get up there, I'm up 600%. I don't care. Right after enjoying all these gains, I don't care about missing a little extra 37% if we get to $209,000, right? I've already got my massive pump. I was in from the bottom, right? So I don't really care about missing that extra 37%. I would rather sell a little early and let the rest of that rip, right, without me, and then lock in my money because there's no guarantee we get up to 200K. But these are the targets for me, right? Big targets. There's also local targets within here as well. But the next big target, 137 to 155K. And we'll talk about local targets when it becomes more relevant. But yeah, I mean, this was target number 1 for me, right? I don't care if we pull back. And we've been saying this, right? Not to be like we were right? Because at the end of the day, right, I could be wrong, right? We could come up and then go into a full-blown bear market, right? Like, who knows? In that case, chances are if this is going to happen, we're going to get some kind of signal up here. So I would just change my sentiment once we get up there, right? But right now, like this pulled back to 80K was not enough to call for a bear market, right? Like this alone is not enough to call for a bear market. This is a simple, like not even, this is a local, on the higher time frame, this would be like a local golden pocket 786 retracement, right? Even bouncing from here and going into all-time highs is possible, right? If it's not, right, again, remember we have our lower levels. Technically, you could even see something like this. If you want to get like a really sketchy situation where it's going to scare everybody out, lower high comes in, we come to the golden pocket or even the 786, right? We could come down like this. But right now, like what we've been looking at more recently was like, hey, we could pull back down to between 80 and 75K. That could be a higher low. Because when you're looking at the Fibonacci retracements, guys, whether you're looking at it for a short-term trade or you're looking at it for long-term, right, where are we expecting a higher low to come in at? The golden pocket, 786 retracement. The first one is sitting here, right, with the one that we've been looking at forever, between 83.6 and 75K. Right? So is this going to be the higher low? The money flow says no. The money flow says we're probably going to put in another lower high and come down a little bit more. And then maybe we still have an opportunity to put in another higher low on our bigger golden pocket retracement, right? So even if we don't get it from here into new all-time highs, we could see a situation where we reject down into here and then we get it from here, right? It all depends on what the charts look like on this retracement, right? If the charts look like garbage on this retracement, I would be a little bit more worried about a bear market. What's the weekly money flow look like up here? That's what I would pay attention to, right? That retracement, right? We've been saying this since last week. If we get a big retracement from these fib levels, right? All eyes on the retracement. All eyes on this bigger retracement. We've been looking for this. This is where we talk about the golden pocket, right? At 96, 97K, right? In confluence with the POC of our larger range. Right here, right? If we come up and we reject here, and we put in that lower high, and money flow crosses into the red, that's where maybe we go into a bear market, in my opinion. And then even at the end of the day, guys, like even if we come on down here and we start bing-bonging around in this range, you could even have a right translated cycle and make an all-time high later in the cycle than we typically do, right? And then everyone's going to be selling the bottom. It's going to be a sticky situation, guys. This is a hard cycle. This is a really hard cycle. But, for people saying that it's guaranteed a bear market, right? Because we're down 30%. Like, we see this in bull markets all the time. I don't know why everybody is calling this a bear market. Now, if the macroeconomic situation is, if we never get QE, right? If we're not going to get QE in the next year or whatever, maybe we do just go into a traditional bear market, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Shout out to Dogecoin Music said, how much are you selling so I can buy it back? Shout out to Dogecoin Music. I would not recommend buying Bitcoin at 137K, but I would say a good amount. You won't need my liquidity. There will be plenty up there. But, yeah, I would not. If you're going to buy in at 137K, that is wild. Shout out to Dogecoin Music. Wait for it to pull up, pull back, and then maybe buy. But, yeah. Let's see. All right, let's take a look. We took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at XRP. Let's take a look. Did we take a look at SUI? We took a look at SUI, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. Oh, yeah, we did. So on SUI, right, I do want to cover this a little bit more, right? We deviated below the volume profile. We got above the value area low. So what we were looking at on the live stream yesterday, right? Looking for a move to the POC and the value area high. We got it. If we continue to break out, which it does look like we're doing, right? What are we looking for? Next big target. Now, I don't know if we're going to see the full move up here, but really the next significantly big target is going to be sitting up here at about 268. This is a bigger golden pocket retracement in confluence with our value area low. That's a big target, right? And again, I don't know if we're going to come straight up there. That'd be really nice. But that's definitely a big target. To be honest, there's not a lot before that, right? It's kind of just like choppy. You can see we had a pretty quick move down here. Could be a pretty quick move up. But yeah, that's what I would look for, right? If we just can continue to shoot up here. On the market update earlier today, we looked at the VPVR, found some high volume nodes, right? Which would pretty much what we're sitting at right now, right? We have a high volume node sitting here at 248 and like around 250, right? So you might get some turbulence here, but if we could flip above that, to be quite honest with you guys, like a lot of the volume is down here, right? We bing-bonged around. Pretty decent low volume gap leading up to the golden pocket and even the 786 up here between about 280 and 287. So, again, like, are you just going to Lambo candle up there? I mean, that'd be nice. But, yeah, I would be, just recognize this little low volume gap. But we are hitting those high volume nodes here, so we might get some turbulence. But flip those, might be able to, it's probably going to be a grind. You could see it was kind of like a grind down. Probably going to be similar, where it might just be kind of like a grind up. But this will be the next major target on SUI. Nice to see that we had that target hit, though. Not going to lie. Or not the target hit, but the whole volume profile filled. You never know what kind of freebies you're going to catch on the Frank Candles live stream. Let's see. Bitcoin popping. There she goes, baby. You can't make it up, guys. You literally cannot make it up. Let's pull up our other chart here. Come on. We're above that anchored VWAP, guys. We are in the volume profile now. Look at us go. Here we go. You got to get to these Frankie Candles live streams on time. Are you going to miss the sauce? Let's see. Let's pull up Market Cipher B real quick. Take a sip of that black coffee. Pump tunes. Let's go, baby. She's going to $1 million. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I mean, she will one day. I wish I had some shout out to I don't know how to say that name. Says BTC is at the downtrend. I don't know exactly what that means. At the downtrend. In a downtrend? For sure. Higher time frame in a downtrend. It's actually moving during the live stream. This is amazing. Yeah, I can't believe it, guys. This is just spilled some coffee. Oh no. Last time I spilled Red Bull, we had a huge crash. Hopefully the coffee's a little different. Hopefully that pumps Bitcoin. Hopefully spilling the coffee pumps Bitcoin and doesn't crash it. XRP probably going to go over 260. I hope so. Shout out to Crypto Creek. Said, well, you said you expected a pullback, so I closed my trades. I wish I did not listen. Shout out to Crypto Creek. I would have told you not to listen. Yeah, sticky situation, right? Like when you have these 2-hour VWAPs overextended like this, a cool-off is like definitely in the cards, right? Especially with the lower time frame money flow coming out. But as you flip, right, we even talk about the exact situation, right? As you are approaching this anchored VWAP, flip this to support, you're at risk of getting another push to the upside. So yeah, definitely would never just... There's a reason why I don't tell... I actually said this before when somebody asked me, or maybe it was you, asked me, no, I don't think it was Crypto Creek, asked me, like, should I hold my position or close my position? I said I would close the short, right? If I were in his position trapped in a short, I would close it and just accept the loss. Right? But I can't tell you what to do, right? Because I could tell you to close the position and then it dumps. And then you're like, why did I close the position? Right? Like, you just want to listen to someone on YouTube. That is not how trading works. You're never going to make money if you're just trying to, like, listen to what someone else says and, like, just, like, big, oh, this is a key. There's so much more to trading than that, right? It's not just, hey, we could pull back here and then, like, short, right? Like, that's not how trading works, right? You have to have a plan. Like I said, if you don't have a plan, you are 100% gambling. I wish it was that easy. I probably would have been profitable way sooner than it took me because I would just watched a YouTuber and be like, oh, he's long, I'm gonna long. But yeah, I dropped my meatball. What's that mean? Oh God, shout out to CJ. That means pump, baby. That means pump it. Let's go. Shout out to Jungle Boy. Said Frankie's our cult leader. Hashtag not a cult, guys. The CandleMafia is not a cult. And if we are, it's a friendly cult. Hashtag not a cult. Let's see. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Said, can I blame Frankie for my ignorance too? Shout out to Mark Dutch. You can blame me for whatever you want. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Seb. Said, what is the key level to short from? Shout out to Seb. That is not how trading works. I can show you some key levels of resistance, but you don't just find resistance and then short the resistance, right? You have to find some kind of entry trigger to actually enter a short position, right? Because for me personally, the next major level is going to be, right, the golden pocket POC, right? So I could say, like, hey, this is the next zone where I would be looking for a potential short, even though I wouldn't really love this because it's the middle of a range. But this would be like the next key level of resistance where I would be looking for a short. However, you can't just come up here and then short, right? You have to understand that when you come up here, you would have to find some kind of a signal, right, an entry trigger to enter the trade, right? Because if you come up here and there is no bearish confirmation to take the trade, then you're going to want to sit out that trade and wait for higher prices, right? In which case you would wait for the value area high 786. So these are the next zones that I would be looking at. Next key level of resistance sitting right here. 88K to 89,638, right? And then if we don't get confirmation there, we could potentially look to flip that, come up to the 786 value area high. And then that would be the next place I'd be willing to look for a short on a deviation. If we don't get confirmation there, we may flip that $91,000 level to support and continue into our macro profile above. But we have to cross that bridge when we get there, right? We have to assess the situation as we interact with those key levels. Yeah, it's not... I would not recommend just like finding a key level, waiting for it to get hit, and then just shorting. You have to... It's much more involved than that. You have to have a reason to actually take the trade. Let's see. Shout out to Chatmaster. Said, you don't know until you've sniffed it. Shout out to Chatmaster, 100%. You want to set the trap, right? Trading is a game of trapping, not a game of hunting, right? You want to set your trap, in which this case would be the purple boxes. And then once you set that trap, right, you want to wait for the mouse to come into that trap and start sniffing around. Not related to the chat that I just read, right? And then only if the mouse starts to chew on the bait are you going to trigger that trade, right? If the mouse comes in and it doesn't take the bait, you're not going to want to fire on the trap, right? You're going to waste the mouse trap, assuming they're single use, right? So you only want to come in if the mouse comes in here and you see a confirmation. The mouse taking the bait is showing you a confirmation, right? There's many different entry confirmations you can look for. So yeah. Let's see. My pants are pumping too. Shout out to Jose. Oh God, let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's see. All in BTC 100X. Shout out to Steve. Let's go. The mouse ate all my cheese, Frankie. Shout out to Fabian. Oh God. Oh, God. It didn't step on the lever? Let's see. I'm still new. Do you think BTC will go under 86,000? I shorted and I regret it. Shout out to RH. I'll say the same thing I said to the last person that regretted the short. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I don't know exactly where your position is, but same thing I said, right? Like the other, whoever was in the whoever last asked me this question was like, I think we were still over here, right? It's trapped in a short, right? The reason that you're trapped is because you don't have a plan, right? So, you know, for example, like you would say to yourself, like if you're going to short here, right? You would say, if we break this high, I probably want to get out of the trade, right? You don't want to have no stop loss and then just like hope it comes back down, right? Because you could wind up hoping it comes back down until you're all the way up here. So, you know, I feel you, brother. I've been in that situation a million times, probably 100 times more than you have, right? Because I just got wrecked for a very long time. I'm a stubborn, thick-headed Sicilian. So, you know, I had to learn my lesson the hard way for a long time. Like, what does it say? It's not until the pain of doing the same thing over, like, what is it? I'm going to butcher this. It's like, change happens when the pain of doing the same thing over and over becomes significant enough, right? Like, you know, for me, I just had to, like, I basically got bored of getting wrecked. I was just like, I didn't even care about losing the money. I just got like bored. I'm like, all I do is just get wrecked. I go into the green and then I get wrecked. I go into the green and then I get wrecked, right? Because I got greedy. So, you know, I just got bored of that eventually and started actually using risk management and actually sticking to a plan and like finding a sound strategy to trade. Now, you know, the person that was short here, right? It's like, you know, in this situation for me, it's like, let me cut this short, right? Like I'm going to cut the short out because not only could we flip the anchored VWAP to support, but we also have the magnet sitting above us, which is that liquidity, right? So, you know, it's not that you can't hold the trade and hope it comes back down, but just you have to be prepared for, you know, what if that happens, right? Like for me personally, you know, I have a lot of trading accounts, right? Like I have the risk to take, right? Like I could take a big risk if I wanted to and take a big loss. Like it's not going to hurt me, right? But you know, on my actual accounts that, you know, I want to grow, right? Other than my degen accounts, you know, probably going to want to cut those losses small, right? And just get out of the trade when it's invalidated, right? Because you're thinking here, like, hey, we flip this. We have the magnet above, liquidity. Bada boom. So you're at risk of that. Now, if you close the trade here, let's say you're down $100, for example, right? You took a short here, right? And now you're underwater for $100. You could cut the loss here, and then price can continue to go back down. You did not make the wrong decision. As long as you invalidated the trade, it doesn't matter if it goes back in your direction. You still made the right decision because trading is about building the right habits, right? Like, for example, like let's just say, okay, you short here, right? And now you don't have your stop loss set, right? In which case you would probably want to set your stop loss above the high at least, right? And just for example, you're saying, hey, if we break this high, I want to get out of the trade, right? In this case, you did a great job, right? Because the trade did not go your way and you got stopped out for a small loss. In my position, I'm very oftentimes holding a long position, right? So the short stops me out and the long continues to pay us out, right? But if you just hold on to this position, right? Like you're just going to get stuck underwater. And it's like at this point, once you break these highs, especially understanding you have the liquidity sitting above, right? And you're flipping the anchored VWAP. I think my mouse is dying. And you're flipping, and you could flip this anchored VWAP, right? Like you gotta protect yourself, right? Or you're just going to continue to take massive losses on your trades, right? So, and you have to understand that you could potentially take that short position, right? And you can say, oh my God, I'm underwater. I'm going to close it. And then price could turn right back around and go in your direction. A lot of people would mark that as something bad. Oh my God, I messed up. I did the wrong thing there because price went back in the... Wrong. You made the right decision by limiting your loss because for all you know, it could have gone back up, right? For all you know, this could have happened. So even if it turned around here and you got a big dump after you stopped yourself out, for $100 or whatever it is, and then it goes back into your direction, you have to take that as a win because you stuck to your rules, right? You have to build the habits. If you do not build the habits, you are going to find yourself in this situation, right? If that was your short, you're going to find yourself in this situation all the time, and you're never going to make money, right? That's the raw truth. So sometimes, right, like sometimes I'll take a trade, I'll stop myself out, and price goes back in my direction, right? And I take that as a win, right? Because I don't care, right? Like, cool, I took a loss. And if you're using good risk management, you're only risking 1 to 2% of your account. You could get, if it's 1%, you could get stopped out of 99 trades in a row before you blow up your account, right? So you're just taking that as like, okay, I got stopped out for $100. Price came back down. I'll reassess it for the next trade. I took the small loss. That is a win because I stuck to my rules and I use good risk management, right? That is the important thing of trading. That's why most people fail, is because they cannot build those habits. They chase and they try to hold, right? And when they do close a trade and it goes back in their direction, they see that as a loss. So what do next time? They hold it. They hold it. And more often than not, the price is going to go against you and you're going to get wrecked, right? Once in a while, it will go back in your direction, but you still have to take that. Ask yourself this question. Did I follow my rules? If the answer is yes, you win. If the answer is no, you lost. Even if you win the trade, right? Let's say you took a long, right? For example, let's say you take a long position, right? And you didn't really have your confirmations and you held the trade into drawdown above 1%, right? So let's say I was looking for a long here, right? And I took a long. I was like, oh, we're getting above the anchored VWAP. Let me take a long, right? I don't want to target up here, right? And then the trade goes against me and I keep moving my stop loss down. And I'm at a $1,000 loss, right? Or we'll just say with a $100 account, we'll say you're at you're at a huge loss. You're down, 50% of your account. Right? But then you hold. You're like, screw this. I'm taking the stop loss off. I'm just going to let this run. And I don't care if I get liquidated. And then price goes in your direction. That is not a win. Right? I don't care how much money you make on that trade. That is a loss. Right? Because you broke your rules, and that is never going to make you money over time. Because more often than not, you are going to have that play out against you. Right? So I know it's not what people want to hear, and I know it's hard to understand, but it is the truth. I don't care. Sometimes, even if you don't have a lot of confirmation, you'd like degenerately enter a position, you're going to make money, right? Is that great? Yes, that's awesome, right? But is that a good thing? No, right? Because you broke all your rules. This is not what's going to make you, that's gambling. And that's fine. If you want to go into the market to gamble, I have nothing against that, right? Like, we're all adults. You can do whatever you want. And will you make money sometimes? Yes. Will you make money over time? No. You're going to lose your money almost 100% of the time over a long enough period of time, right? It's like the casino. You can win $10,000 out of a slot machine, but if you stay in the casino for long enough, they're going to take that plus some, right? It's the same thing if you're not using good risk management. So when you break your rules, that's a loss. If you lose a trade, but you followed your rules, that's a win. It kills the psychology, right? Because it doesn't make sense. You're like, I lost money. Why is that a win? It's a win because you followed your rules and you're building those habits. And those habits are literally why most traders fail, because we are emotional creatures as human beings. It is so hard to fight against your own brain. Most people just react off emotions, right? Like even in regular life, right? Like when something happens, people just get super emotional, right? Like I'm very agnostic. Like I'm very, I don't know what the word is. Like I'm very maybe unless I'm driving. Like when I'm driving, I get pretty emotional, right? Like I just get like road rage sometimes, but like not super bad, but like I'm not like yelling out the window anymore. In New York, I used to do that, but that's common. That's just like, hey, screw you, idiot. And like, yeah, you too. Have a good day. You too, right? Like that's just how New York is. But humans are just emotional creatures, right? Which is a horrible mix for trading. Right? You want to be a robot. Follow your rules. If you followed your rules, you win. If you broke your rules, you lost. It doesn't matter if you made money or not. If I make $10,000 on a trade that I just gambled, cool. Yeah, I won 10. I won 10 grand, right? But I won it on a gamble, right? And that is bad. I try not to do that, right? I do take degenerate trades sometimes on other accounts, but I try not to do that at all, right? Because it leaks into your psychology, and that will eventually hurt your actual accounts. So there you go. Anyway, let's continue on here. Systematic, 100%. Shout out to the GOAT. Let's get it. This is great content. Shout out to L Coops. I am here to help you. What I could do is, just come up here and tell everybody it's go to $1 million and, tell everybody it's go to $1 million and just gamble, right? Like people love that, right? It's fun. I get it. I like that too. It's fun. But it's I'm here to turn actual people into actual profitable traders consistently over time, right? So if you want this to eventually replace your full-time job, you have to think from the mindset that I just explained. It is habits. It is not gambling and making money, right? You'll get lucky sometimes. I got lucky sometimes. When I first started trading, I got so lucky. I thought I figured out the key to life. I was like, oh my God, I got the secret. I got the secret. I just degenerately trade and I get lucky and I make a bunch of money. I very quickly learned that was not the case. And anyone that tried to tell me, bro, you have to use risk management. You have to use a stop loss. You have to make sure you're following your strategy. I'm like, you're an idiot, dude. You're a nerd. I'm going to get rich. And what happened? I was the clown and I got wrecked. And then I had to learn the hardest way. I had to learn the hardest way, guys. And that's why I try to share my journey with you guys. Like, learn from my mistakes. Please, for the love of God. Let's see. Shout out to TDK. Said, this is the type of sauce I need in my life. Thank you, bro. Shout out to TDK. 100%, bro. That's why I'm here. I've been through the thick of it, right? And that's why I think I'm able to relate so closely to you guys. I've been in the exact situation that all of you have been in. We all learn the hard way, or we don't learn at all. Yeah, shout out to Jets. I 100% learned the hard way. And the reason I'm so passionate about, like, expressing this, right, is because I was the worst of the worst, right? Like, everybody starts off on a rough journey when they start trading. It's very difficult. I was the worst, right? Like, I just did everything the wrong way to the most extreme degree, right? And I was very, like, arrogant about it. I was just like, you know, yeah, well, I made $500 today, man. Like, and you're telling me risk management. Well, why don't you ask me what to do? Because I just made $500. I was getting lucky, right? So I know what it's like to have that, like, confidence, like, oh, I don't care, I'm not going to use a stop loss. But trust me, it caused me so much pain. I wish I learned this earlier. It's like I feel like, like when I have a kid one day, hopefully he wants to be a trader or she wants to be a trader, and I could just, I'm going to sit him down and be like, you must listen to me. And they're going to go make their own mistakes. And I'm going to have to let them go. They're like, yeah, you're going to have to learn just like I did. But please, if you can make my mistakes not worth nothing, if you guys can learn from my mistakes, it makes it all worth it. And if it expedites and makes your journey in trading faster, it's all worth it. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes we need to touch the fire, but then we see the blister and learn, share the knowledge. Fire is hot. Yeah, shout out to Matt. I touch the hot stove so much that my handprint is permanently burned in to the burner. But anyway, shout out to Philip says 88K looks like a mousetrap on Trading Light. Could be. What do you say? 88. Dang it, where'd it go? Where'd he go? Yo, shout out to World War 208 says, I'm different, though. I clean my guns loaded. Shout out to you, bro. Living on the edge. Dang, what was that price? Looks like a trap on Trading Light. Who said it? Where the heck did that chat go? Where did it go? It's gone. It's gone forever. All right. Well, let's continue on here. Yo, shout out to P-Dub said, I'm still watching off the clown paint. Thanks to the premium. Shout out to P-Dub. It's okay, brother. That's why we're here. Man. I had clown tattoos. I had to get them removed. It was very painful. But yeah, I'm just pondering my Lambo now. Shout out to Jose. Let's go. Oh, there we go. 88K. I mean, yeah, shout out to who said it? Shout out to Philip. 88K. That's right on that golden pocket. That could be a mousetrap. That's where mine is. So let's go. All right. Let's see here. Thank you, Nick. That helped me out, bro. That's how I found that. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. How long are we going for right now? Oh my God, we're going over time, boys. We're going over time. What are we thinking on render? I'll take a quick look at render. I say render to $100 by next week, probably. Yeah, I can just tell it's going up, so that probably means it's going to keep going up in a straight line. I think that's, yeah. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's continue on here, guys. Let's take a look at a render. All right. Let's see here. Is this our current chart? What chart am I on right now? Yeah, this should be it. It's not. These levels aren't old. I'm just gonna pull up a new chart on render. I think we made a new chart on render. Maybe not. All right, I'll just make a new one. All right, let's see here. Man, that's annoying. I think we do have another render chart. I'm not going to lie, guys. That's Binance Tether US. Is it the Coinbase? Yeah, I must be tripping. Yeah, I guess this is it. So let's take a look here. So yeah, I'm going to keep this volume profile. This volume profile does seem... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to make a new render chart here. Bear with me. Boom. Okay. So yeah, this is what I'd be looking at for render. And I'm actually going to extend this larger profile, although it has been respected. I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to pull another range here. I'm going to pull this like that. Whoops. So your major volume profile on render is going to be sitting right about here. And you got your value area high sitting here at 933, POC at 7760, and then your value area low at 427. And let's see, do we have the 2-day bull div? 2-day bull divs, I'm not going to lie, guys. 2-day bullish divergences on the altcoins. This doesn't necessarily mean full-blown alt season, but 2-day bull divs on the altcoins are typically pretty decent signs. We didn't have one there. Probably have to look at an older coin to get like a good back test on that. But yeah, a lot of the time, these 2-day bull divs are pretty good for the altcoins. So I would be looking for a move into the value area low if we do continue up. 427 is going to be that next key level of resistance, right? So next target to the upside, in my opinion, whoa, what the heck? All right, there we go. Right here, 786 golden pocket. If we continue up, I would look for a push into this zone. Once you flip that 786, that could open the door for a bigger move to the upside. Now, I'm not necessarily instantly expecting the POC, but the POC is sitting here at 760. So that would be, where's my POC? Range POC. And then, yeah, I mean, that's the macro range, like for the most part. That is the macro range. Value area high sitting at 933. But locally, I mean, a significant retracement could bring us up in here. And then this is absolutely key resistance, right? Not only key resistance, but the doorway to potentially get a quicker move up or a bigger move up into the larger volume profile. So like macro levels, this is what I'd be looking at. Might even be able to... Yeah, you could potentially pull this. I'm going to keep this previous profile just because these lows are even... Yeah, I'm going to keep it right here. So that's what I'd be looking at. You can see the levels marked off on the side of the chart here. You guys can get that same range here. And then again, the golden pocket 786 between 390 and 436. See if that bull div does continue us up. I would expect this to be the next zone. Flip it. That would give us the doorway to the bigger move up. And you can see here, we do have a little bit of a fall off in volume here. You do have some levels, right? Like honorable mention here, right? Let me pull up the let me grab this, put it in here, bada boom, bada bing, and then I'm actually going to get, let me get this. I'm going to pull this up in there. Bear with me while I do surgery here, guys. Did I do that right? There we go. And then let me just get this volume profile, bada boom. Okay, so, honorable mention here, right? Once we get up to this 786 golden pocket, get above that 786, you have this local range pulled from, on this last little drop to the downside down here, right? So that is kind of an honorable mention. You could just pull that over this little sideways price action, and you will get these levels to populate. But overall, right, those are kind of like local. Overall, I would actually, let's drag this out of here. Whoops. Bada boom. Bada bing. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at, guys, for render. I don't hate this. Yeah, I would talk about low levels to the downside as well. But as we're pumping, we've been looking at the bearish case for so long. Let's just enjoy. I'll give you guys like a little quick peek here at the lower levels. I would watch this volume profile down below. It's kind of the next significant volume profile down below. Value area high sitting at 224, POC sitting at 171, and the value area low at 122. So, yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. Bada boom. Come down. If we do wind up projecting the 786 golden pocket / value area low, we could look for the bigger move down to the volume profile, starting at 224. Other than that, though, we'll see if this 2-day bull div can continue us up. See if we can squeeze it to the upside here. Take a look at the daily. Daily VWAP kind of overextended. We'll see, guys. I mean, a lot of this volatility, after FOMC, I like to let the dust settle after these situations. We've been able to snipe those moves on Bitcoin into those liquidity levels. But other than that, you got to be, I'm looking to let things settle down here. We got the, we're just hanging out in those liquidation levels. Yo, shout out to Uncle Jesse. Said hit that like button. 1K likes needed. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. Trend line across the top starting on February 25th. Dump from 96K gives you a strong resistance at 88.5. Shout out to David, bro. I love everybody bringing up the key levels of resistance, guys, right in confluence with where I'm looking. 88, top of the golden pocket at 88.6. Right? So that is right in line. I guess I assume you're probably looking. Yeah, you're probably looking at something like this, like a trend line, something like that. Right? Maybe. Something like that. Might be a little more long term. But yeah, that's right near where I'm looking. That is right near where I am looking. Let's see. Bada boom. 989. Oh my God. Give me that hat. Give me that hat. Shout out to Nick Dunn. 100K likes. Guys, if we had 100,000 likes, I don't know. I will make a personal visit to I don't know what I'll do. I'll come mow your lawn. I have no idea. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. What are we going to give away? If we had 1,000 likes, what should we give away? We have a bunch of hats that we're already giving away. Maybe we'll give away some. Should we give away some Bitcoin? We never give away Bitcoin. Yeah, we could take a look at Solana. Let's take a look at Solana. We are running out of time here. But let's take a look. Solanzo. What do we got going on? I mean, hey, as we know, deviation below the low. Low key, you don't need like anything other than the you don't really need anything other than the live streams. I'm not gonna lie. Other than getting into the premium Discord, I don't know what else you need. Like, you don't even really need indicators. Like, you don't need any indicators. You don't need any, like, you can just watch these live streams, guys. And if you pay attention and you pick up what we're putting down and you put in the work to actually, like, learn the rest of the TA, I mean, what do we look at here on Solana? Deviation. Whoops. Deviation. Well, come on. Deviation below our volume profile. Oversold. AKA cheap asset. This is where you look for longs. What we were looking at the time was 30-minute bull divs, looking to come back up here and hit our head on the value area low. Once we break above the value area low, that's our doorway to higher prices. You get the move up, we push up, we come back down, we deviate again. You get even more bullish divergences, like low key. I would never tell someone to trade just solely based off this, but I'm not going to lie, guys. Just bull divs below the volume profile is like almost certain to get a move above the value area low and at least some kind of a move up. Again, I would not trade just based off bull divs below a profile, but it is like, I mean, just backtest that. Like, go do yourself a favor. Go look at volume profiles and backtest this stuff. But as we look at this, right, you just simply deviate below your low. And not only do we have the 30-minute bull div, right, but we also have the daily bull div. Lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. Hey, if we bounce here, probably going to come up, test the value area low. And if we can get up here and hold the value area low, we could potentially look for the move. Why is this? It's not even dead. It's not blinking. We could get a push up into that POC, right? So next target on Solana, very simply put, is going to be that POC of the range, right? It's the same thing that we look at every time, right? Hey, guys, if we lose this range, right, if we deviate above this high, get stuck into the range, POC, value area low. Once we impulse out of this range, we are going to look to get accepted back into our previous area of balance. We impulse down. we get accepted into the range, go to the POC, go to the low. Deviate below the low, we go to the POC, back to the high. Deviate the high, back to the POC, back to the low. Deviate the low, back to the POC, back to the high? Question mark? Potentially. We'll have to see what happens. But I will say this, as long as we remain above the value area low at about 126.68, we could potentially see that push up to the POC. So there we go. There we go, baby. We got 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. I just almost hiccuped and burped at the same time. Thank you to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for smashing that like button. We're going to give away, I don't know what we're going to give away on Friday's live stream, or maybe tomorrow. We'll try to figure something out. Maybe we'll switch it up. Let's see. Can we check Trump? Yeah, we could try to check Trump. Trump. What indicator is that? This is Market Cipher B. The volume profiles is a free tool on TradingView. It's called the Fixed Range Volume Profile. You can check all the content on the channel. We have tons of tutorials to show you how to use it. Check out the beginner series. Start there, and you should be off to a great start. Let's see. Let's go. I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to TDK, said giveaway at 2K a 1 to 2 hang on a second. 1 to 1 30-minute 1 to 1. I'm like a 1 to 1 30-minute call. I'm like 121 30-minute. Shout out to TDK, a 1-to-1 30-minute call to help mentorship and advice and correct habits and set targets and challenges. What do you think? Shout out to TDK. We actually did. We used to do that for giveaway, not giveaways, but yeah, when we hit like goals, I would do. We would do that. I would do like a 15-minute call, but it just timing it just got so hard. It's really hard for me to carve out the time for that stuff, especially to do it every week. But man, maybe we could do something like that. It's just really hard with my schedule to half a pity. Shout out to Jennifer. Yeah, it's hard with my schedule to kind of get that stuff going. But we have done that before. Maybe we'll bring it back at some point. Let's see. I would be on the phone screaming, "Oh my God, it's Frankie!" for 30 minutes straight. Shout out to K Diggity. Me, you, and Phoebe can have a 30-minute call together. That would be fire. To be honest with you guys, I would love to do that. If I had the time, I would love to just be on. That's why I'm live. Like, I love just being live. I was thinking about this last night. Like, I know I say this from time to time, and I hate to beat the dead horse. You guys know I love beating dead horses. I would never beat like healthy animals, obviously. But no, I feel so lucky to be able to do this with you guys every day. And it's like, I just think to myself, like, I get to hang out with like sometimes 1,500 to 2,000 of my best friends here online, and just give value and help people. And it just feels, it's like so awesome. That's why I love, like, that's why I always go over time. Like, low key, guys, we've been trying to cut these live streams down to an hour. And we are eventually going to have to try to keep up with that. But I just can't stop, right? I just have so much fun being in here with you guys. And when I get feedback that we're actually helping you guys make money, it's really hard to get me off this dang live stream. Mrs. Candles, thank God, is a saint. She's always like tapping her foot waiting for me. But yeah, it's just, it's amazing. And I feel super thankful. And it's all because of you guys. I appreciate you guys like endlessly. I genuinely mean that. It's crazy. I say, I wake up every morning and it's like I have to pinch myself. I'm like, do I really just get to wake up and trade and like go live on YouTube? This is the coolest thing ever. It's like a dream. So yeah. But let's see. I'm the bestest, Tony D. Shout out to Uncle Jesse. Thank you for being the like police, Uncle Jesse. We appreciate you, bro. We've been smashing those like goals ever since you signed up to serve as our local police force, like police force. Not beating healthy animals. Man, this would be fun to read out of context. Yeah, shout out to Sumer. I am like the biggest animal guy. Animals are like sacred to me, low key. My sister's a veterinarian. My whole family's big on animals, like dogs especially, but all animals. Animals are like sacred to me. BTC pump again now. Come on, baby. Oh, she's pushing. She's pushing. Go, baby, go. Push it. Push it. Come on, give us the pump. I mean, hey, guys, volume profiles are absolutely goated. Absolutely goated. There we go. And we finally get the push through our liquidity. Let's get it. Liquidity target number 1. We come up during the market update, right? Or not during the market update, but we look at it down here when we were shooting the market update. Not here, like somewhere over here, right? We get to push into that magnet. We know if we can flip that value, that anchored VWAP to support, we can get that push up into that next area of liquidity. And there we are, full fill of that liquidity. Absolutely insane. The TA is the crystal ball, guys. We don't have an actual crystal ball. It's just a TA. And everything that we teach here for free every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But guys, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I wish I could stay all night, but I do have to go eat food, and I got some stuff to do. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to Quiz said, what's the next resistance? If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, we give all the key levels. And funny enough, you'll be able to see us looking at this target that we're sitting at right now, and you can see the TA play out in full in real time. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for smashing the like button. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for showing so much love here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the dang channel, guys. We're going to help you find those key levels, and we're going to help you on your journey to trading for absolutely free. Sure, we have paid stuff. We have the premium Discord, but if you're new, start here for absolutely free. We give the most free value out there on YouTube when it comes to crypto trading, Forex trading, stock trading. We don't do Forex or stocks, really, but out of all those, I don't see anybody else out there giving as much free value as we are. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bells, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Right here, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. Shout out to Aaron, shout out to Cyrus, shout out to Sanji, CandleMafia's John Cena, Quiz, In the Ancient, Ryan, Jesse, all the mods. Shout out to Keith, Gen Z, Nick Dunn, Mr. Ethereum. Shout out to everybody. I love you, CandleMafia, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Guys, I forgot. Am I on? I forgot to show the trades, guys. I'm not logged into Blowfin here, but I was able to get into FEMEX. This long position up, realized $400, up $830. I do also still have my long positions open on Blowfin from all the way down here. That one is up, I think, almost $5 grand, I want to say, between like 4,500 and $5 grand. So I am still in that position, and I am now holding this other position here on FEMEX. Shout out to FEMEX. And don't forget, guys, if you want a chance at winning a free month of the premium Discord and you want to check out my personal trade setups, get in the dining room, go to the free Discord, go to the dining room, get in there. And if you're on our FEMEX link, you will be eligible to potentially win a free month in the premium Discord. And you can start banging some of these trades like we do in the premium Discord. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll.